The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbershop Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack, this like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
Before we start the show, we want to thank our sponsors, Pillars. Pillars is the best clothing line in the Chicagoland area. If you're looking for a dope hoodie, a sweatsuit, shirts, shoes, or even stuff for your kids, Pillars is where you should go. You can visit any of their 4 store locations in the Chicagoland area or visit pillarsclub.co and order online. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. I am your host, Scott Lewis, man. It is Friday, May 31st, 2024, man. Y'all know to get in tune with me. You can follow me at Barberchair Scott on all social media platforms. You can follow the Barberchair Network at Barberchair Net on all social media platforms, as well as you can follow H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram, man. Of course, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barberchair Network. No local hour today, but we have a new episode of Summer Sessions that's up on the Patreon, man. A whole bunch of other stuff, exclusive content. You can subscribe to the $5 I'm Not Gonna Hold You tier, the $10 Barbershop All Access tier, man. You can get in tune with all our content over there. And, of course, get in tune with our sponsors, Pillars, man. You can go to pillarsclub.co right now or go to pillars_club on Instagram or visit any of the 3 Chicagoland store locations. There's one over there in the West Loop, over there on Madison, one in Orland Park Mall, and one in Chicago Ridge Mall, man. We've got a nice, show for y'all today. First time we're back in a week because of the holidays. Hope everybody enjoyed the Memorial Day this past week. The homie Mikey will be joining us later. We've got our guy, friend of the program, Randy Wilkins, 3-time Emmy Award winner, director of Derek Jeter's The Captain 30-30 will be joining us in the second hour. We're going to be talking to him about a little bit of baseball. But let's bring the crew in, man. Let's bring in everybody that I got today, man. We've got the one and only JR Bang. You can follow Bang at JR Bang on all social media platforms. You can follow Dante at OctoberZoneTay on Twitter. And, of course, we got the homie Mike Willis, man. You can follow him at please underscore save the baby on all social media platforms, man. And, of course, everything I just named Pillars. You run through him. Anything you need Pillars, run through him. Here's your go-to guy. So, how's everybody feeling, man?
Good, man. It's Friday.
It is Friday, Bang. Dante, how y'all feeling?
Boy, it feel like somebody kicked me in my goddamn chest. That's what it feel like right now for me. Outside of that, man, shit. I've been looking at these Bears tweets, so I'm happy about that.
I'm solid, G. I played golf this morning for free.
I was about to say, how was your golf trip, nigga?
Oh, the golf trip was I played terrible, but it was fun. Arizona was solid. The views were crazy, We ain't gonna talk about the scores.
How you play golf for free though? Like what?
Oh, this morning, just long story. The homie didn't show up, so I just played in this place. They ain't say shit, so I just played for free. Shout out to the plug. But yeah, I'm decent, bro. So finals is finally set. My finals pick is in the finals, so I'm feeling good about that. Ready to see where this thing goes.
Yeah, man. Do you like Arizona? Arizona to me is Indiana with palm trees.
I mean, like I said, the golf was cool, but like It's real.
Indiana with palm
And
trees.
then, like, that was the first time I went to a casino, and it was like, why the fuck am I in this casino?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the vibes was not like, let's go
Vibes
get
is
money.
not-
It was like,
right, exactly.
yeah. So no, Arizona is
Vibes
cool.
was
Like I
like,
said,
let's
for
go
a golf
get
trip,
the
get the fuck out
vibes.
of here.
The vibes in Arizona is like, let's go drink Tecate Light and watch reruns of Roseanne. That's the vibes in
Oh,
Arizona.
big retirement town. 100%.
Big retirement town, man. But man, this is like a slow Friday, man. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little tired. So, which I'm trying to bring the energy into this show for y'all, man. But big show. We're not gonna give our picks for the finals because we're gonna save that for our NBA Finals preview show on Monday, man. But I'm going to start off with my sound off to start the show, and I just want to say big shout out to the Dallas Mavericks beating the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. I don't think anybody on this panel or a lot of people would expect that have been our Western Conference Finals 6-7 months ago when the season started. So salute to both of those teams. But man, somebody tweeted me the other day. It was like, well, you owe Kyrie an apology. I was like, because of what I said about him last year. Like, nigga, no, I don't. Like, and I've been seeing a lot of this going around in the media. I know Stephen A. apologized. Stephen A. is different. Stephen A. took it personal. There was stuff that happened behind the scenes with Kyrie and Kyrie's people. That's a whole different thing. Stephen A. is good for apologizing on air. I'm not 100% sure how they did that because, as the three gentlemen on the show know, I'm a notorious double downer and I'm extremely hard-headed. So even if I knew I was wrong, I don't know if I'd have said that on national TV. But that is besides the point. The only thing that changed with Kyrie, we got to stop acting like Kyrie beat cancer. Okay, like, oh, redemption tour. Like, no, there was no redemption tour. Nobody ever said in these last couple years since he, really since he left Cleveland, going to Boston, telling the Boston fans he was going to sign there for life. Then he didn't. Then they hate him. Then, going to Brooklyn and how everything like that ended up and then coming to Dallas. Not through that entire time. And anybody ever say Kyrie Irving cannot play the game of basketball. Nobody to ever say you're going to waste your time as a talent with Kyrie Irving on the basketball court. That was never ever said in this particular time by me or anybody else. You know what also I hate? And I know Bang will get mad at me this because he always says, fuck Twitter. Don't be worried about Twitter. I hate when Twitter says y'all said. Nigga, I didn't say nothing. If you don't have an actual quote of what I said, don't be bringing me stuff of what another nigga said.
I'll allow it.
I never said that. You know what I'm saying? So I said something a year ago where I said that he's a smart dumb nigga, and nothing changed 12 months later. He's a smart dumb nigga that can hoop. Only thing that changed was he learned to shut up. That's the only thing he learned to shut up, and he had a franchise. Got to give credit to Mark Cuban and whoever the new owner is. Because I forgot last night that Mark Cuban isn't even a majority owner anymore. He sold the team a couple months ago when they handed out the Magic Johnson trophy. I was like, who's this nigga they giving the trophy to? I almost forgot that Mark Cuban wasn't 100% the owner anymore. But anyway, Mark Cuban, the new ownership, Nico Harris, everybody over there, Michael Finley, the entire team. I think they did a good job of making Kyrie feel, accepted and feel like this is a home for him. And my personal run-ins with Kyrie's a cool dude. At the time I was at Kyrie's first game as a Maverick. I covered his first game as a Maverick. And that just happened to be the same that Kevin Durant got traded. Nice dude. I ain't got no problems with that. But we got to keep it real about what he said. He said some things. And by the way, I'm not one of the people who thinks he's an anti-Semite. No, I don't even believe the nigga watched the movie. I know niggas. There's no way he watched that movie. There's absolutely no way on planet Earth that Kyrie ever watched the movie. He saw a clip or a trailer or something and just put that out there. You can't convince me that Kyrie ever sat down, watched that entire movie. I don't believe that. And even the vaccine thing, whatever, that's a whole different conversation. I'm not going to be bringing up old stuff again. But my whole thing is, don't be tweeting me at, you owe apology. I don't owe apology. He's the same guy. He just learned how to be quiet, and I'm happy for him. I'm glad we're talking about the game of basketball. But let's stop going around saying, well, this is what happens when they throw them in the mud, they throw them in the dirt and things like that. I know we're looking for storylines for this NBA Finals, which I don't think we need to search for storylines because there's more than enough storylines in this NBA Finals. You got the Boston Celtics with them. If they don't win this year, I don't know what you niggas finna do because you playing Daniel from Insecure $300 million and you about to have to pay Jason Tatum George another $400 million as well. And you didn't win the NBA championship. So you got that on top of it. You got Kyrie coming back to Boston. Those Boston fans going to be making up slurs we never heard since the 1940s. They're going to be bringing a whole bunch of that. Porzingis returning to Dallas. What's the storyline going to be if Luka wins his first championship? There's so many other storylines for us to talk about instead of forcing this. You threw him in the mud and now he rose against opposition. Give me a break, man. So that's my sound off to start this, man. So much love to Kyrie, but give me a break. But anyway, let's go on to the actual basketball. Last night, the Dallas Mavericks won in a blowout. That game, I thought it was going to be more close than it was last night. And I kind of feel like these NBA playoffs in general have just been storyline-wise, have been good storyline-wise. But how many of these games have actually been entertaining is a question that I have for y'all before we get into it. Do y'all think the NBA storylines in the NBA have been better than the actual play? I'll go to Mike.
No,
my bad.
Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of more blowout games than anything. Like, even I think the Knicks Pacers, it wasn't that much. I just went Game 7. Then it didn't live up to the hype. It's all storylines. It's a lot of blowouts, but the one good thing about that we are seeing in the playoffs this year, is just the passing of the torch is what they want to say. So you're seeing all the young stars doing really good. You see Luka, you see Jason Tatum, you see Ant-Man. You know, so you're seeing Halliburton, you're seeing Shea, Brunson. So it's just like the passing of the torch. But other than that, you know, we seen a different level of superstars. I can tell you this, like every superstar, superstar, whatever star player on their team has showed up in the playoffs. Like Tatum, Halliburton, Brunson did amazing. Ant-Man, Shea, Luka, Kyrie still doing their thing. You know, Tatum and Brown still doing their thing. So they are living up to what they do. But it's been a lot of blowouts. You know, it just is what it is. It's an offensive game. Like yesterday was definitely disappointing. I thought the Timberwolves, at least I had them losing, but I at least thought they were gonna put up a fight. But you know, that European man came out there and just said, no, niggas, y'all finna stay here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's more blowouts than anything, but like the Dallas Mavericks series, that should have been a sweep as well. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't. I mean, the games came down to the wire, but most of them, like I said, that's probably one of the best series, and I keep saying the Lakers and Nuggets series because it came down to the wire each game. So other than that, most of them been blowouts.
And that's the problem. Both are two competitive sweeps or gentleman sweeps.
Right.
Dante, go ahead.
I've been pretty entertained. No, I called it. I've been pretty entertained for the most part. Like you said, there were some blowouts, and but I mean, you expect that in today's basketball, just the way the game is played. One thing me and my homies was talking about yesterday when we were watching the game was how, you know, like we always say, it's not that, you know, styles make fights anymore. Where you got like a really strong defensive team against a really, you know, high-powered offense. Most teams that make the playoffs these days, especially the teams that win championships, they're good at both. They're usually top 5 in offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. So, for me, it's been pretty cool. I like this series a lot because of the style of play that the Dallas Mavericks play. Seeing Kyrie and especially Luka do his thing, that was dope. And so I think overall I was entertained. So the storylines added to it and it helped it out. But overall, I think the basketball spoke for itself.
Bang, go ahead.
I ain't mad at it. Like, you know, I think that the final storyline is probably the one that I just look at overall, and maybe everything that just happened, the scene that happened, led all the way to having a storyline that has Kyrie going up against his former team, the team that he said, hey, if you don't mind, I would like to stay forever. And the crowd was like, yeah, stay forever, black man. And then he was like, nah.
And it was like, nigga.
Yeah, nigga. And then you have Kristaps Porzingis, and the whole thing between him and Luka. You got the Grant Williams finals, which he was on both of these teams, and now he ain't on them no more. So he could have been here. You have Jason Kidd, who could be someone who wins a ring as a player and a coach. These are the storylines now. Minnesota, the storyline was built around, and I think rightfully so. I just think it was just a buzzsaw that happened. Was Ant, and can he get over the hump, and does experience matters and stuff? But like I said before, I think these blowouts is just self-preservation. It's not necessarily like one team that's just really, really better than the other team, and for the exception of last night. I think last night Dallas was like, we fucked up. Let's go ahead and stop bullshitting. But a lot of the blowouts we seen, I think, was more self-preservation. This was the first one, I believe, that the team just really came out and was like, nah, we ain't going. But it's going to be interesting now to see how this storyline goes compared to the series because, without picking a team, it's just a lot of shit built into what we're going to be seeing when the series start. And what I expect to be a highly competitive series.
Yeah, I think that for anybody who has not been entertained by these first 3 rounds, I think you're going to get your money's worth in the NBA Finals. I think this is going to be a great NBA Finals. Like I said, we're saving our picks for Monday for the NBA Finals pre-show, but I think this is going to be much better than the finals we got last year. I think 2022 was very entertaining between the Celtics and the Warriors, so I think we'll probably get 2022 level of play. So I'm looking forward to that, man. I think the next week the NBA is going to do a good job of hyping it up. But let's specifically talk about the Mavs run to the title, man. I felt like you said, Mike, it should have been a sweep. I think that they were a little bit too excited in Game 4. If you even look from the way they're playing, they were going for a lot of home runs, a lot of the flashy 3-point shots. Yeah, there'll be times where Minnesota it will be only a 4-point game, and here they come trying to do a save the world type 3. I think they were just too much thinking about the celebration instead of actually winning the game. So I think that was a factor in Game 4. But last night they was on a mission, man. I think one thing we've seen over these last couple of years is, man, Luka, that boy is disrespectful. Like as me and Mike make this joke that he hoops so well, almost look racist. Like the way I'm like, I don't really like how he talking to black people like that. Like I like when he told somebody when we yelled in the crowd yesterday, who's crying now, motherfucker. Yeah. I was like, I hope that wasn't. I know he wasn't talking to Snoop. That was my first reaction. I had to rewind. I had to watch the video. He was talking to a white man behind Snoop and Jimmy Jam, who at the game. Snoop was just shaking the head like, "Yo, this nigga cold." But go ahead.
No, y'all say let's be clear. If he was talking to anybody in the crowd in Minnesota, it's a 97% chance it was a white person.
Well, no, I'm just saying the way he was
scan that crowd.
He was looking at Snoop's direction.
It wasn't a nigga in sight outside of the celebrities.
Outside of Snoop and Jimmy Jam, there was no nigga there. And A-Rod, I know black, but they was all there. But he has that crazy gene, man. And then he been talking. Who knows? We've been saying Anthony Edwards. They asked him after Game 3 what he said to Anthony. He said, I can't say it. Like, we know what the nigga hates Devin Booker. So you just kind of see like that I hate the mama mentality thing, but he has that psycho inside of him, man. I think that he was just tired of people talking, and he took it out on the day. But the road that the Mavericks took, I mean, a year ago, like we talked about the Kyrie Irving trade, them not even making the play in last year, how they're gonna mesh. They put that roster pretty good together. A very underrated signing in Derrick Jones Jr. He was a solid player for the Bulls when Billy Donovan actually gave him some minutes, adding him to it. But the season got saved. I mean, got saved, but take it to the next level when they traded for PJ Washington, traded for Daniel Gafford. Started giving Derek Lively more minutes. That really just changed the entire fortune of this team. And Jason Kidd really doing a great job in making this team's identity. We know that Kyrie and Luka can score, but kind of making the identity more on the defensive side. Now, I'm not going to say Luka and Kyrie are great defenders if they're not, but both have been doing a really good job defensively in these playoffs that you got to give them some credit. And to see where they've come from a year ago to make it here, they're on the 2nd, 5th seed to make the NBA Finals. The last one was the what's called the Heat, but that's doing the intramural championship, as Bang likes to call it, the Mickey Mouse, the Mickey Mouse Classic. As we like to call it. But that's the last time it happened.
The Mickey Mouse Invitational.
Mickey Mouse Invitational. We all know that also the only 6th seed winning championship was the Houston Rockets back in 95. So it's in that whole type of thing. But Mike, tell us what you feel about just the role that Dallas has taken over this last year to make it to the NBA Finals.
I mean, everybody wants to just obviously credit the play of Luka and Kyrie, but honestly, bro, you have to give most of the credit to the GM and Jason Kidd, the head coach. Like, they just did an amazing job of putting the pieces together. Like you said, acquiring PJ Washington was rotting in hell in Charlotte. If you in Charlotte in general, you rotting in hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, you getting him there. You're getting Daniel Gafford, who crashes the board, athleticism. Just the thought of just playing Derek Lively, and like we seen Derek Jones Jr. in different spots, and we just look at him as a high flyer. I swear to God, I'm not gonna lie to you. Until he got to Dallas, I never seen him shoot a jump shot. I didn't know the nigga was left-handed.
He shot a lot of threes in the Bulls, bro.
But I don't watch a lot of Bulls games. That takes that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I sitting up here watching Bulls games? That's crazy. I might as well watch the White Sox, but that's a different story. But just the way that's why I keep telling people, like, the GM, I think it was what Michael Jordan told Jerry Krause, like, the GMs don't make the championships and shit like that. But honestly, the fuck you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I'm not here to fucking go out there and play, but I'm here to put the team together. Like Jason Kidd is there to think for you. That's why the coach is there. They're there to think for you. You know what I'm saying? For the players. And Luka said that yesterday while at the end, after the game was over, talking to Inside NBA, he was telling Jason Kidd putting us in the right place. He's a point guard, so he can help Luka and Kyrie get to this point where they're at right now. But I just love the team that they built. Like, we know their offensive team, so you're just making just the simplest adjustment. Playing Derek Lively. Now you got two bigs who can defend, could rebound, and could jump and get them and fucking dunk the ball. The oop selection that Luka could give now. At first, I don't know who the fuck. I can't stand Maxi Kleber. He's terrible to me, but. Just those simple adjustments. I think I can't stand Max here, but I think everybody just fits their role. Like, I think Kyrie could go down as one of the better number 2 players or 1B players you ever seen. And that goes back to what you were saying earlier. Like, yeah, he shut the fuck up. But also, if you look at it, Kyrie did better when he wasn't the quote-unquote best player. Like, when he went to the Nets at first, when KD wasn't playing, he was the best player, but it just didn't work out. When he was with Boston, it just didn't work out. But when KD got there, they did have a little groove. When he played with LeBron, obviously they went to 3 straight NBA Finals, and now he's playing with Luka. It didn't go as well at first, but then it got to going good. So I credit the GM and Winchcombe the most.
Yeah, and big shout out to the GM. GM is Nico Harrison. We've been calling that nigga Nico Harrison. Shout out to that black man. They want to fuck your name up, brother. But yeah, he was former Nike employee, and like Alex says in the chat, he's a former Nike employee who actually does his GM's job, unlike Worldwide Westside, who is GM of the Chicago Bulls, and we don't know what that nigga does. But
what does Mark Eversley do, y'all? Somebody say something.
Somebody tell me what Mark Eversley does.
Well, tell us what he do.
Get money.
Get money. That's the only thing he do is get money. And if you're a Ryan's employee, you get a check you ain't got to work for. But bang, what do you think about the Mavs road the last year to get to where they are now?
Hey man, this is something that you normally see in the NFL. Like, worst to first, they didn't make to the playoffs, now go to the finals. I think this is dope. But also, before the series, what did I say here? If Kyrie and Luka, who they say they are, I just said that Minnesota was going to win in 7. But we saw what happened.
I think this whole cast picked Minnesota.
Yeah, we all picked Minnesota either 6 or 7 games. But this is what we've been waiting for Luka, and it definitely helps that Kyrie is there. I think a number of people have said what Mike said, right? Kyrie leaves Cleveland. He tries to strike it out on his own. It didn't work. But then you have the Brooklyn situation. And Dallas, we all know that Dallas wasn't his choice. He wanted to go to LA. He wanted to go back to LeBron. But I think with Luka, it shows to definitely be a better choice. But also, even though Luka is who Luka is, right? Luka does not have the camera on him like a LeBron and some of these other players. So I think an underrated fact about the Dallas Mavericks and this particular team here, before we get to the role players, is the fact that he's on the team with a star. Kyrie is on the team with a star. And even though this star is one of the better, bigger name players in the league, he does not have the light on him like some of the other top players. So he could be with a top player and still be kind of under the radar, because Dallas is a team for some reason. You don't necessarily even think of the Dallas Mavericks or the Dallas demo being a major market. It is a top 10 market. With that being said, I said it a couple of weeks ago. I'll say it here today. Hey man, it's big team building hours. That's what this is.
Yep.
It's just showing you that team building and coaching are back. This ain't the days no more where you could just have the three best players on the team and just go get a coach. All right? Nah. Jason Kidd been coaching his ass off, and they really went and built this team. And to get PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, who was just on Washington and Charlotte respectively, or disrespectively, PJ Washington was dealing with baby mama drama. That was the only type of publicity this man got, dealing with baby mama.
Ain't PJ Washington baby mama Brittany Renner?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. The only type of publicity that man got was baby mama drama. And look, they come in, and both of them are key figures to a team, key bench players. So it's real team building hours. So shouts out to Nico Harrison, shouts out to Jason Kidd, shouts out to Michael Finley as well. We don't want to forget Chicago's finest crib legend. So it's real team building, and teams like Dallas, who big name free agents don't go to, that's how you build your team, through draft and through free agency. I mean, draft, little free agent moves and trades, and that's exactly what they did.
Did y'all see that video of Luka in the back chilling with his daddy, and he was drinking a beer, and Michael Finley was like, "Nah, nigga, we can have you playing 40 minutes a game."
We need that. We need you to put that down. Son.
You need to put that down. But Dante, tell me what you think about this Mavericks, run this last year.
It was great to see. Luka and Kyrie, two special talents. So I hear bang when you talk about the team building, but it's still tough when you got two superstars. Like, that's what you need at the end of the day. Like, the top talent is going to rise to the top. And in this situation, you had two of the best scorers in the game. A lot of people have already put them up there as the best scoring backcourt in obviously NFL in NBA history. But just their unique shot making ability, and when they both get hot, it's a wrap. The one game they lost, Kyrie had a bad game. Had Kyrie not had that bad game, they probably would have swept them. But as far as Dallas, shout out to Mark Cuban. He relinquished ownership this year to a back seat, but with everything that was going on with Kyrie, he did stick by Kyrie and allow him to stay there and find himself. So you got to give him credit for that. And I think this is a team that, even with everything we've seen with Boston and how good they are, it's going to be a very good NBA Finals. Like, they definitely going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight. I don't care how many defenders you have, because you may have to put Drew on Luka just for the size. Like, you can't. But yeah, exactly. You can't. So like, their best defender, I think, in my opinion, is probably Drew Holiday. But he's not gonna guard Luka because of the size difference. So I'm interested in seeing the matchups. If Kristaps Porzingis comes back, I know we're gonna get into all this later, but I think as far as the Dallas Mavericks, this run, beating 3 of the 4 top seeds, it just shows you, when you have two of the best at what they do, that can get you anywhere. And they got hot when they needed to get hot. And even with Luka being hobbled half of the previous series, he finally looked like he, was getting a little more bounce in his step. He not, obviously he ain't the most athletic nigga out there, but he was getting a little more bounce to his step this series. And so I think they're gonna be, locked and loaded going into the finals. And they definitely took that beer, because Luka looked like he can gain 10 pounds in like 2 days. So like, they just probably told bro, they dial it back a bit.
Big hookah Dante. We were talking about like bad impressions, good impressions before the show started. Mark Cuban, that's a cool ass nigga. Mark Cuban is a cool nigga. When I met Mark Cuban, I think it was actually the same game with Kyrie's first game. Cool nigga. Cool white nigga. Super cool white nigga. White nigga is my favorite phrase. I've said that multiple times. White nigga is my favorite phrase on planet Earth, because it just don't make no sense. But it's amazing.
Scott, real quick, to Dante, I just want to make it clear. Yeah, you still need stars on the team, But what we have been seeing lately is that you can't just bring stars on the team and think you could go.
Oh yeah,
you can't.
it can't be right. It can't be 3 and me, my nigga.
Yeah,
like
right,
you gotta go
right.
get some people. Like,
Right,
You can't have
crazy
3
enough.
stars and then get Mike Bibby on a minimum.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
and like
so-
you see how it's also interesting. You know, we talk about team building once again. Guard pass they drafted well. They just picked terrible coaches, terrible player development, and then these people leave and go other places and find roles, bro.
And didn't want to spend money on the stars. That was the issue. That was the issue. But
insane.
But yeah, man, let's go into the losers of this, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I lightweight don't want to call them lose. I mean, they are by default, but like they had a great year. Like I don't think anybody expected them to have the year that they had, especially not the regular season. But even when they got in the regular season, I had them beating Phoenix. I was like, yeah, I hated that Phoenix team from the minute Kevin Durant got over there. And by the way, whose decision to leave Golden State looks worse than Kevin? It just gets worse by the moment. It gets worse by the moment.
Put the screen back on everybody, my nigga. We need to look. That might go down as the dumbest decision in NBA history.
Yeah.
Like more because you left a potential dynasty. And look at what has happened to you since. It might go down as the dumbest decision of all time.
Because he cares what people think. That's just his problem. He just cares what
that
people
was the
think.
mistake.
They, like most superstars don't care what people think, but he definitely does. Like
he took that joke that when Bob Myers said that joke at the 2018 parade about, oh, we still gonna give his money to Steph. Ha 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 ha. I was like, that nigga's not coming back.
Yeah.
I was like, but Steph won another title, and boy, don't let the Mavericks win this one. If Kyrie leave, and it also makes Harden look worse than Harden already. I don't want to play with Kyrie. Like, all right, nigga, and then he sent Harden home, and I ain't gonna lie to you, Kyrie was locking Harden up on a couple possessions in the first round. But anyway, back to Minnesota. They beat Phoenix, beat OKC, and then they just completely handled Minnesota, man. So, but as far as what's gonna happen with next to them, I think in today's NBA we gotta be very careful about saying they'll be back again. I had no problem with Anthony Edwards saying that last night. He's supposed to say that. He's young. I love his confidence, and you're not gonna go up there with, I hope we back next year. But this is the Timberwolves are in a weird situation here, and I say that because when we asked the last round, bang, we was like, who's gonna be back? Are the Oklahoma City Thunder gonna be back? We always like, yeah, they're gonna be back because, like you just said, real team building out. Which you got Shea, who got postseason experience. Chet's gonna get better in year 2. I do feel like they need to find a legit number 2 to score because I don't believe in Jalen Williams as like a legit number 2. But they've got so many draft picks to be able to get that. Minnesota has an issue because Anthony Edwards is gonna get better. He's only 22. I'm still not a Rudy Gobert fan. I don't care how many defensive player of the years he wins. And I think we've seen that in his playoffs that I don't think he's as great as a defender as the numbers may show you. And then Karl-Anthony Towns, man, like Cat decided to stay in the post, bro. He shoots too much. I know he's a good 3-point shooter. He's a big man. He won a 3-point shooting contest, but he needs to change the way he plays basketball. But the only other issue is this: they got a battle for the team ownership this summer. So the Wolves president of basketball operations, Tim Lee, who A-Rod and Mark Lurie stole from Denver. He was the guy who built the Denver Nuggets and made them the champions. They signed him to beat Denver. And that's exactly what he did with the way they constructed. But he has an opt-out in his contract this year where he can ask for a lot more from either Denver or he'll get to pick it a little from somewhere else. And then you have the proxy battle in court this July where there's going to be an arbitration hearing that could probably last all summer between Alex Rodriguez, Mark Lurie, and Glenn Taylor. For those of you who don't know, Glenn Taylor has been the owner of the Minnesota Timberwolves since they debuted in 1989. But 3 years ago, he had agreed to sell the team to Alex Rodriguez and entrepreneur Mark Lurie, who was A-Rod's partner. And they paid him $600 million. They had lost some funding, but they found another investor real quick. And they had a new plan, and Glenn Taylor was just like, oh, I don't feel like doing it anymore. Basically, he sees how good the team is. When he decided to sell the team, it was up. I think they're worth $1.9 billion. Now they're worth $3.5 billion, and he just doesn't want to let go of them. A-Rod and them like, nigga, we gave y'all $600 million, and we still have the money. You can't just get out of contracts like that. So whoever wins this battle this summer, whether it's Glenn Taylor again or whether it's A-Rod or Mark Lowry, they're gonna have a huge luxury tax bill they're gonna have to pay, and that's gonna impact roster construction. So we don't know if A-Rod and Mark Lowry or Glenn Taylor are gonna be cheap, like, oh, we tried, but now we got to cut salary. So that's why I'm really interested to see how this is gonna go, and I'm not 100% sure that this is gonna lead to them being right back in this. You're gonna have Memphis is gonna be back next year. You have John Morant back for a full season. You expect Oklahoma City to take that next league. Denver's gonna be back. Like there's so many other teams in the West that I feel it's gonna be tough for them, and they really need to get it done this year. I'm gonna go to Bang first because I want to get your opinion on, like, even just with the ownership stuff. What do you think? Do you think there's a good chance to be back here next year, or did they really blow a golden opportunity?
Because Ann is so young, I don't want to say that they blown a golden opportunity, but I think they blown a golden opportunity because I'm just not sure that ownership is going what is Glenn Taylor or A-Rod in them. I don't think they're going to be able to keep this team together. Minnesota is not a team that wants to go into that extra luxury tax. They don't want to do that. Excuse me. At the end of the day, they're still a small market team. So for teams like that, I'm always leery about what can happen with them going forward. So with them, nah, man. Remember when KG went and we was like, yo, somebody like KG go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, he may have ran into the Lakers, but somebody like him, he got to come back. Nah, that nigga was in Boston a couple of years later. And we've seen this before where we've seen teams that you just thought that you will see come back and be there over and over and over again, not come back. And guess what those teams have been? Small market teams. So, nah, I'm not so sure that this will happen again, but I'm hopeful because I like Ant.
I like Ant, and also that new commercial he got, new Adidas commercial, fire commercial.
That shit hard.
But when they called Cam's tweet out, you knew Cam was gonna shoot back. Cam said, what did he say? Cam said, "Oh man, Ant man, I wasn't trying to stand it, but y'all need to find a better looking lesbian."
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
To read my tweet,
and I'll hot take it. I'll hot take it on this one. That commercial is leading to the best superstar campaign since LeBron James. Like it's
an old school commercial. I like how
it's an old school commercial.
I wouldn't have read that though. I'd have told Adidas, man, I'm a Cameron fan. Y'all setting me up. I know what he's finna say
and shouts out to two people that I know that has worked on that campaign. Shouts out to my man Pharaoh, and shouts out to my girl Makita. They both been working on the campaign with Ant. So yeah, you know.
Big shout out to them. Mike, man, what you think about do you think that Minnesota blew opportunity? I know me and you have had conversations about you saying more people just like Ant because of the way he talks more than his actual play on the court.
Right. All the other shit cool, they're fucked. The Timberwolves fucked, like Bang said. Now, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna break it down to you why they're fucked. And like Bang said, that was their golden opportunity. Not saying they would have beat Boston, but just to get to the finals, I think they were straight. Okay, it's the reason why they fucked. Like, he needs a better running mate, right? So he needs, Cat's not that's not the prototypical running mate that he needs. A big guy that wants to shoot threes. Like, he literally, he won a 3-point contest and just yelled to the world, I'm the best shooting big man ever. And it's like, wow, we saw Dirk Nowitzki, but that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now he won the 3-point contest. That's all he wants to do. Rudy Gobert is Rudy Gobert. He making a lot of money, and they traded all the picks, right, for Rudy Gobert. All right.
Yep. Cool.
So now you're battling. So now they're battling for ownership. You got no picks. You got Rudy Gobert all this money. You got Cat all this money. Guess who's going to come up with one of probably the second biggest contract ever after Luka get it? It's probably gonna be Ant, right? It was like another year or two.
Well, yeah. After Tatum and Luka are gonna get generational bags this summer, but after them, it'll probably be Ant or Ja.
Right, Ant or Ja. So regardless, he's getting a big bag, right? Boom, he's gonna take it, or he has to leave. So he's gonna take the bag. How are they going to function as a team?
Yeah.
Because he's going to take the money. So no one's coming to Minnesota. So we got that understood. Small market teams. Listen, bro. If niggas didn't want to come to play with LeBron James in Cleveland, his first
nobody going to Minnesota. Yeah.
No one's coming to Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? So now he has to focus on that. They can't get rid of Rudy Gobert. They don't have picks. I don't know how much you can get for Cat. And like you said, teams get better. You can't miss that opportunity. Like even with Denver, I don't think it's just going to be a cakewalk for them anymore. It's just like, okay.
It's not, but at least they have the best player in basketball.
Right. I think that's Luka. But
you got Luka over Jokic?
I got Luka over Jokic, but that's just a different.
I want to have that conversation on a future show.
Right. So, you know what I'm saying? And it's a toss-up. I guess whatever you like. But that's why I think they're fucked. I don't think they can they're a small market team. You got a big man that you gave away a lot of picks for, probably the worst trade ever. You gave a lot of picks. You're making a lot of money. You got another big man that just wants to shoot threes. Probably can't get that much for him. You could get probably a player or two, maybe a pick. You know what I'm saying? But is that going to help Ant get over the hump? Like you said, Ja coming back. Teams get better. Teams figure out other teams. Because everything sometimes is just the matchup. Yeah. It's just the matchup. Like someone told, it was a guy, I won't say his name. He thought because they beat the Nuggets that they were just going to go through the Mavs. I'm like, I don't think that's happening. They guards. These guards are two different. Jamal Murray and KCP is not fucking Luka Doncic and fucking Kyrie Irving. That's two different ball games. So I legitimately think they're fucked. I don't think he would ever get to the finals with this team, how it's constructed. And the West we thought was falling off a couple years ago, and now it's just getting better. Like teams are going to figure out, teams are going to get better, but the edge that some of these teams have is they in the a bigger market. The only one is like OKC, but they just draft fucking well. They draft well and they develop well, so I don't know where they could get the money at, because the only way you could do it is some way like how Dallas did. You trade for a player, but who the fuck wants Cat? Who wants Rudy Gobert? Especially if you get, it's not who wants them and who wants to pay their contract. No one. So I think that was the best opportunity they have. It was a nice run. Like I said, I love Ant. I think he's going to be definitely on the top of the hill, but people love him more. I swear to God, people love him more for what he says in like the post-game interview. Like my man, one game, he had an amazing game, and people like, man, they talked about his post-game interview, how he's talking. Like when he told Michael Parsons, oh man, I'll see you back in game 6, I saw people tweeting like, man, that sounds like some shit like Michael Jordan saying. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like,
Michael Jordan wouldn't give a nigga shoes.
Like exactly. Like, so what we doing? But I think they blew a golden opportunity. I hope I'm wrong, because I do like Ant. I do want to see him get there, but no, man. Like the Timberwolves, if they play 4 more times, they probably won't win again. If they play the Dallas Mavericks 4 more times, they probably wouldn't win the game. You know what I'm saying? Luka was on one leg. You know what I'm saying? So now you have to worry about this team. You got to worry about the Clippers. You got to worry about the Lakers. OKC. Denver's still in there. So the Grizzlies going to come back. So it's going to be difficult. So Pelicans still there. The Suns. But no, they blew the opportunity. It's Minnesota. Great job. But, yeah, that's probably the end for them.
Dante, what you think about Minnesota, man? You think they blew it?
No, I'm not gonna say they blew it. I say it's gonna be tough for them to get back though. And the idea that to just say we'll be back next year, it sounds good in theory, but like we know, the West is a very tough conference, and teams are gonna reshuffle, moves are gonna be made, and it's just a matter of where they fall after that and how they continue to build off what they have. The Rudy Gobert issue is still there. I know obviously you were trying to get back in the game, but you mean to tell me the 4-time defensive player of the year is off the court in the 3rd and 4th quarter? When you fighting for your season, like he's off the bulk of those minutes, that's something you got to address. And I think Ant will continue to get better. He'll continue to grow. I like that he accepted every challenge they threw his way. Didn't back down from the Kyrie statements, even though Kyrie made a point to go out in game 1, and you saw how tired he was and how exhausted he was from trying to do it on both sides of the ball. But I think more than anything, it's just a matter of how they come into next season and as a team, as a whole. Mike Conley told him, I don't have much time left. So what are you going to do about your point guard position? Jaden McDaniels is about to get a bag. Yeah, that was crazy. Jaden McDaniels is about to get a bag this offseason. So, it's a matter of just how that team continues to grow together. And if you do decide to make a move, which way do you go? I know a lot of people say just trade Rudy, but they assets are kind of bare because they traded a lot of their draft picks to go get Rudy. So if you trade Rudy, you gotta have to trade Rudy and something else to get something back, depending on what you want. Just because I think at this point, enough teams have seen his deficiencies in the playoffs to be hesitant about just trading for Rudy Gobert. Like if this was Dwight Howard with 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, you know, in his prime, jumping out the gym, yeah, people would do it. But with the give and take that comes with Rudy, I'm not sure how you move him. So you got to try to move on with him and build around him. Cat is cat, bro. Like people got to let that shit go. Y'all sound like Shaq when people say go to the paint. That nigga does not play in the paint. That's just not his game. He's a shooter like that through and through. He lived with it. He died with it. And you know, he had a couple bad games, but you know, for the bulk of the playoffs, he was very efficient for the Timberwolves. So I think again, just coming back next year with this experience, you know, getting their bodies right. KG talked about that, how they just look gassed because they usually on vacation by this time. So I think saying I'll be back next year, that shit sound good in theory, but I don't think it's over for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, man, we got 10 more minutes with Mike, man, before we bring 3-time Emmy Award winning director and friend of the program, the homie Randy Wilkins, in a minute. So I want to end this topic with Mike to talk about. Mike's a Duke fan. For those of you who don't know, he'll let you know loud and proud. This is like watching your kids play in these finals. You got Duke on Duke crime for the next two weeks between Kyrie and Tatum, man. But my question to you. We both are on opposite spectrums of the Jason Tatum, spectrum, I guess you want to call it. I don't hate Jason Tatum just because I don't like Jason Tatum. I hate Jason Tatum because he too talented to be doing what he be doing. It's like when you have a cousin who, you know, he could be great if he just put his mind to it. That's how I feel about Jason Tatum. But my question to you, Mike, and then we'll go around the room. Do you think that Jason Tatum gets too much slander?
Absolutely, G. I saw on TV today, I seen other people saying, oh, not only does he have to win, he has to win the finals MVP. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like when Steph won the finals, and Andre Iguodala won it, no one's batted
no. They cooked that nigga for almost a decade.
No, man, like that shit, they just started. No, bro.
You know that's why it meant so much in 20. They were cooking Steph about that not having a finals MVP.
As years, that's just people who hated Steph. So you're not finna fucking tell me I'm not a great player because I did good.
I'm with you.
I'm the MVP, and then four games that we won at the end of the year, that makes me not the fucking best player. That's insane. Like I think people overhype the finals MVP. It's like, gee, I want the championship. Like it's cool, but I want the championship. But yeah, he definitely like I understand people hate Boston, people hate the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Tatum. They hated like the corny shit he did with like the, you know, you faking like you texting Kobe and all the, you know, all that shit, the unnecessary shit. Like some of that shit is his fault. Like just go out there and play ball. But it's a lot of pressure on. But some of them like even him not getting the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, like the man led in every stat. Like I was confused about that too. And then everybody like, oh, Jaylen Brown's better. And I'm like, okay, I saw someone said. Obviously, they know basketball. They said Jaylen Brown that's why Jaylen Brown makes more money. I'm like, well, that's because his contract came first. But that's here nor there. But I think he gets too much of the heat. And they're winning. That's what's confusing. Like if he was losing and things like that, I could understand it. Like, yeah, they tricked off 2 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, it didn't look as pretty as it is. I saw a lot of people saying they had the easiest road ever. And I'm like, what the fuck do you want them to do? You want them to lose? You know, like, oh, they was missing this player. They was missing this player. Jason Tatum missed the game, missed this shot. He missed this shot. Like, they're not going to hit every shot. They're not going to hit every buzzer beater. They're like, oh, he played trash in the 4th, but he was great at overtime. They won. They won in overtime because of him. But I think he gets too bad of a rep. Like they not even counting the championship. Like, they say if they win, he better win the finals MVP or he's going to get cooked. And I'm telling you, Jason, if you ever watch the show, which you should, just go out there and win. Do it for Duke. Duke's going to win either way it goes. Derek Lively, Kyrie, or
do it for the St. Lunatics.
I mean, listen, bro. No, relax.
Do it for Murphy Lee.
Yeah, definitely relax. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be a real good finals. I don't like championship games where I kind of like I don't have no grievance towards the other team. Like, I don't want you to win.
Well, you don't hate anybody?
I don't hate anybody, so I kind of like, I don't really like it. I do. I don't know if I can give a pick because I'm not gonna be on the y'all show, but I would.
Yeah, you can give your pick since you won't be on Monday. You can give your pick.
Boston is going to win. I just think like they're starting, especially if Porzingis come back. I think Boston really, really wins, but I think it goes 6. Luka and them. It's just the other players for Boston that's going to play a key point. And fucking Derek White been playing amazing this whole year. That nigga cut his hair and just said, I'm finna be out there hooping. They played good team defense. Al Horford, they got him shooting. He's shooting like he cat out there. But he hitting his threes. You know, I think one game he went 7 for 12. You know, you got Al Horford, you got Drew, you got Derek White, you got Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench doing well. Hauser hitting his clutch 3. So I just think it's just too many weapons. But, hey, you can't doubt. I would be shocked if the Mavs win. That's what I'm saying. Because I think
it's a pick-up series, man.
Yeah, they have the best player in the world right now. They have Luka. And I'm not saying that because of what he just did. I just believe he's the best player in the world. You cannot get him off his groove. If Luka is trash, it's because he's trash. He did it himself. I don't think it's a game plan that for any star, I don't get for any superstar that has a bad game, bad series, it's just them. They just shot bad. When Kobe went, what? I always joke about you in that game 7, Scott. He went 9
for 24, but he had 18 key rebounds.
Right, exactly. It's nothing that the boss did. He just shot bad, bro. He just shot bad. So the only thing that can stop Luka is him. But the length pause of the Celtics, like all of them, like it's just too much. I think the Celtics win the 6, and Duke gets another championship, and North Carolina players are still trash.
Damian, I know Damian watching too. Right
Yeah, they still try. They haven't had an All-Star since Vince Carter.
Oh, yeah, no, he done made some comments. He done made some comments.
Yeah, they haven't.
It will not be displayed.
Damian's in the chat room saying comments we can't put on the show.
And we always joke about this. Y'all haven't had an All-Star since Vince Carter. We gotta start thinking about North Carolina development. They haven't had an All-Star since Vince Carter.
I just realized that.
Hey,
just realized that
Wichita State had an All-Star in the NBA before North Carolina did. Hey, Fred VanVleet, shout out to him.
So who was the last good? I mean, Kobe White seems to be
Kobe White.
The last of a dying breed, basically.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be one anytime soon. But we could go ahead.
Yeah, man. My thing with Tatum, I hear what you're saying. I am in the crowd of people think he need to win Finals MVP. And the reason I say that is this. I feel like 2 years ago, me and Pavi been on the front lines of the Jason Tatum fool y'all bandwagon for 2 years. Now, 2 years was controversial. When me and Pavi were saying this during his 2022 playoff run, and niggas like, what you talking about? I'm like, he just had 100 turnovers. That's NBA history. Like, so at that point, it was controversial. I feel like everybody has come to my side now to the point where it does feel a little bit OD, but he gotta show up. And not that he hasn't shown up. I mean, the numbers he's averaging 26 points per game on 44.2 field goal percentage. You know, he's only shooting 29% from 3, which isn't good, but he's averaging 10.4 rebounds and basically 6 assists a game in the playoffs. Yeah, the numbers are there. He plays good defense, and I'm not one of the people who thinks that, Jaylen Brown's better. No, nigga. Jason Tatum is seeing double teams. Jaylen Brown is not. So there's a difference between them being guarded differently. Jason Tatum affects the games in more ways than he does. My problem with Jason Tatum ain't the 46 minutes. It's the last 2. He play like a nigga who played 2K. Like, stop with the fadeaway threes. Why you fading away on TJ McConnell? Like, what are you doing? I want to see him do what he needs to do and lead his team to victories. Now, I'm not saying he got to do that every night because this Boston team is stacked. You can have a night where Derek White is going crazy. He might be the reason that y'all win. You might have a night where Jaylen Brown does that. If Porzingis comes back, he got a night. You know, you got the times where Al Horford shooting 7 threes a game. But I just want to see more assertiveness from him in the fourth quarter and let him know, like, yo, he said at the beginning of the year, I'm the best player in the league. I still think about how the way I played in the NBA Finals. He let Andrew Wiggins put him on an island. Change that this year. Change it.
I got one question. For you. So because this is the rule now. I remember this at the Kawhi Leonard won the championship with the Raptors. I can't believe this was the rule. If you win the championship and you're the Finals MVP, quote unquote, you're the best player in the league, right? That's what people are saying.
I don't believe that.
No, that's the silly shit that people been doing. They tried it with Giannis too.
They did that shit for years, for like damn near 6-7 years now. So if Tatum goes out there and dogs and he wins final MVP, is he the best player in the league?
Well, if you're going off perception, what the narrative would be, they'll probably the Tatum love is gonna shoot through the roof this summer if he does win Finals MVP. I'm with you, Mike. We've had this conversation before. I think Finals MVP is the most overrated award in
Very
the NBA.
overrated.
It means you're the best player for that series. Like that
series.
And I think we take it because Jordan won it every time. LeBron won it every time. Shaq won it every time. Kobe won it every time. And I don't even think this conversation actually happened until Steph didn't win in 2015. And if you want to be real, Steph should have won in 2015. Like I don't like this narrative. Two narratives I hate. That Kawhi Leonard slowed down LeBron James in 2014. The nigga averaged 30 and was shooting 60% from the field. No, he didn't. The other narrative I hate is that Andre Iguodala slowed down LeBron. Yeah, LeBron shot 41%. That wasn't because of Iguodala's defense. He had nobody to pass to.
Dellavedova was out there, man.
Dellavedova and Dellavedova was on an IV. Because why? Steph was busting him up. Steph should have won Finals MVP. Pause. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was nuts.
That was nuts. My fault. That was crazy.
Nuts.
But yeah, so I'm with you. Like, yeah, the narrative around Finals MVP sucks, but it does as far as narrative, as far as what he wants to hear this summer. If they win and he's the Finals MVP, they're gonna praise him. He's gonna get that. He's gonna get the contract regardless. But it's gonna go to another level. Let him not win it or they lose. He's gonna get cooked.
He's gonna get cooked. And Luka's gonna be a fucking.
Hey man, for those of you who don't like Caitlin Clark coverage, two things need to be. First of all, you need to be happy this nigga ain't from like Indiana or something. From America. Oh my god. And number two, Luka coverage finna go to the next level if they win a championship, man. But go ahead, Dante.
I was saying, if that nigga name was Luke Donald from Topeka, Kansas, boy, you would be in hell right now. Like, so no, definitely 100%.
And then shout out my cousin Peyton in the chat. He said if JT win and he on the Olympics team, they win. They definitely, exactly. They gonna hype him up to be the best in the NBA because then you got Bron is bringing back the America Avengers before the rest of the country. Gets into the action. The American Avengers. He called Steph and Katie up like, nah,
we gotta win this gold.
We can't let these free we can't let these free healthcare niggas beat us. Really, like, no, we gotta win. But
if they go out there and lose, it's gonna be nasty. That's the crazy part. You do all this shit, you gotta win.
And by the way, I'm one of a few people who don't care about USA basketball because that means I got to root for players who I don't like rooting for. Like, I know that sounds funny, but I wasn't rooting for the Redeem team. I was in my peak LeBron hate year. Go Serbia. Nah. Anyway,
Olympic Serbia is nuts. But Kobe and them was out there bogus. They was out there killing shit.
That Kobe, them niggas was going to Dre's and Kobe was being a madman in the gym at 3 a.m. Anyway, we're gonna bring in homie Randy in just a second. Mike, man, let them know everything y'all got going on the Pillars right now. If you got any special sales or anything like that.
Yeah, man, we got a sale in the store like jogging suit, $70, the whole suit. We got short set, $60, the whole suit. Check us out at all the locations. And also at pillarsclub.co. That's pillarsclub.co.
Yes, sir. Mike, we will holler at you next week, brother.
For sure. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. We're going to bring in a friend of the program. Very special guest, man. This guy, if you don't know who this guy is, man, you I don't know what you're doing, bro. We got a 3-time Emmy Award winning director of one of my favorite 30 for 30s. I always say it all the time because I watch it literally all the time. I just went on a 30-30 binge this past weekend. And I went back watching like a whole bunch of others I love, man. But you also a host of a new podcast, man. You got a new Yankee podcast, View some 314 feet. It's you and Athletics Chris Kirshner. I don't want to mess his name up. That's
you got it. Yeah, it's Chris.
We got the homie Randy Wilkins, Bronx, New York's own. Randy, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Always happy to be here. Honored to be here. So thanks for having me again.
Hey man, always good to have you on, man. We gonna get into some baseball talk. Man, but before we get into that, we know it's NBA Finals week, man. Just a quick question for you. I know you watch hoops too. Which way you leaning coming up with the series,
Maps. I have an NY on my hat. So
he said no Boston.
That's the answer to that question very, very quickly. Not to support one of the players on the Mavs, more the other guys, but I'm not supporting Boston in any way. So they get the fuck out of here. As far as
I think most black people not from Massachusetts just have an inner hate for the Celtics.
Yeah. Or in Boston.
Just Boston sports.
Good reason.
Yeah.
With good reason.
With good, I was born when the Lakers won the Showtime back-to-back, so I don't remember the battles between them, but it was just naturally, I don't like Boston. Then after the 09 series with the Bulls.
Yeah.
And I love KG, but KG was pissing me off in that series because he was on the sideline. He wouldn't shut up. Yeah. And that just took my hate to the Celtics for another level, man. But
it's crazy. Hold on. It's crazy because you mentioned the captain, and one of the books that I read, going into it, was actually a book that Howard Bryant wrote about the history of black baseball in Boston. And the great thing about, I can't remember the name of it, so apologies to Howard, but one of the great things about that book is that through baseball and the Red Sox, it talks about the history of Boston racism. And it's an amazing book. The name will come to me at some point, but through reading that, it just cemented my hatred for Boston. It was just this ain't good.
He said that's all I needed. That's the only battery I needed in my back to continue my Boston.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But man, let's get into it with some baseball talk, man. So big news came out this week, and that's why I wanted to talk to you because you tweeted a couple tweets about it. Basically, I didn't understand the issue until you tweeted about it. Shout out to the homie Shakia. She told me about it, basically about the Negro League moving. Basically, their records going to be moved into the MLB records. And a lot of people in the MLB were hyping this up like this is this amazing thing. And a lot of people came out like, let's not fall for the banana in the tailpipe here, man. So break it down for me like I'm 5, and for the people out there who are not 100% sure why this isn't how Major League Baseball is making it look.
So, I mean, it's in its simplest form, it simply comes down to the Negro Leagues existed because they were not allowed to play Major League Baseball. And Josh Gibson and, before Jackie broke the color barrier, Hank Aaron, Jackie Robinson. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We all know the names. We know the teams. We all know the people involved. They were simply not allowed to be in the major leagues. And to then try to right the wrongs of the past by just willingly absorbing and integrating their stats in a league that they never played in just brings up a whole lot of questions of integrity. And I'm not saying that the intent is to whitewash history. I know some people use that word. I don't think that's what Major League Baseball is doing. I think that they were trying to do something good here. But in trying to do something good, it highlights the fact that at the very heart of this is racism. And the Negro Leagues were created out of necessity, not necessarily because that was the original intent, but it was a response to an establishment that, because of the way the country is set up and how we all know this works, they were the gold standard, and you had to create an offshoot for you to have your own professional ranks. And by saying Josh Gibson is the all-time leader in home runs and OPS when he was barred from the league is ridiculous. I mean, we have to look at it. Sometimes you just have to simplify things and look at it for exactly what it is. He was barred because of racism. He is not the OPS leader of Major League Baseball. And to tout it that way is, I'm not going to say it's intentionally disingenuous, but it's disingenuous because we all know what the elephant in the room is.
Right.
So I think it was, when they started this process, I thought it was fine for the league to recognize that these stats existed. And I think that symbolically saying, yes, we recognize the Negro Leagues, the talent, but also the production was more than enough. But to then say that they're the leader in a league that they were in the bylaws of the league banned from participating in is ridiculous. You could, and I think you mentioned Shakia. Shakia had the best way to deal with this. You could have just said that they were the leaders of major leagues, not Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And part of this too is that it reinforces MLB as the gold standard of professional baseball. That's subjective. They're the most powerful because of the money that comes in, but that doesn't mean that like they're the gold standard and everything must be measured by their gaze. That just gets into a larger conversation that's connected to race and like the white gaze and like all those things we probably don't want to get into right now, but it's all a part of that kind of ecosystem that because we have this and exists the way that it exists and is positioned the way that it is, we're letting you into our league now. Like we're allowing you to be properly vetted. And it's like, who are you to say that? That's not your place just because you're Major League Baseball. So that's like the gist of my issue with it.
All right, so I'm learning here. You know, I used to be in baseball heavy as a kid into my teens. As I got into adulthood, fell off. I'm actually going to my first baseball game in maybe 25 years on Sunday, and it's a Cubs game, so I'm a little bit disappointed.
I mean, it's better going to soccer.
It's better.
I know, but if you know about the reason why I hate the Cubs, you'll understand. That being said,
if I can let them niggas go, and they won the World Series on my birthday, you'll be fine.
Oh man, it's a little bit personal, you know. It's a little bit more personal. You know, all my issues be personal. I be hating this. With that being said, so I'm learning about this because when I first heard about this, I was skeptical. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, how did we get here? But in listening to this explanation, it kind of the only way that I can make it make sense. So this is my question: is this like Warren Moon has always, like, when I hear people talk about Warren Moon, when you combine his stats in the Canadian Football League and in the NFL, he is one of, if not the all-time leader in passing yards, right? So is this almost in the case of like the NFL swallowing up Canadian Football League numbers and saying like, oh, now that he has all of these together, now Warren Moon is the greatest quarterback of all time, or we can pander and say that this, or at least we could pander for this moment and say, hey, this person has this person has that, when essentially, even in Warren Moon case, he wasn't in the NFL because they didn't really fuck with black quarterbacks. It's like, is it something similar to that? And if that is the case, like, was this all done in vain? Because it sounds like if this was the case, it shouldn't even happen at all. We should have just left it alone. Like, am I tweaking?
Nah, okay. So, like with the Warren Moon example, the difference is they let Warren Moon play in the NFL.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Like Josh Gibson didn't play Major League Baseball. So there's no like combination of stats. It's just his Negro League stats are just transferred and literally compared to the other players that played Major League Baseball. So it's not even
right. Yeah.
At least with Warren Moon, I saw Warren Moon play in the NFL for like years. You know what I mean? So like that's the major difference there. And it's almost like they don't take Ichiro's numbers in Japan and combine it with his numbers in Major League Baseball.
That was the next example I was going to use. Yeah. Those players that come over,
right?
Ichiro have the most hits of all time. If
you include Jose Abreu's stats in Cuba, he'd be going to the Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah. So that doesn't happen. Like you could say the same thing with Ohtani. Like there are multiple examples where like elite, impactful players that came from other professional leagues, their numbers are not recognized by Major League Baseball. So like even there, the consistency of like thought is not there. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, I don't want to like totally trash MLB because I think that in some ways it's meant as there's good intention behind it. It's just that the execution and the process is like very faulty when it got down to it. To me, they just either go with what Shakia said, which was this is the leaderboards from major leagues, so it encompasses various professional leagues, and then you just leave it at that, and then people can then make their own determinations. Or you just say, look, we recognize these Negro League stats, and we're just going to put him in his own category because it was in his own category. Recognize the reason why they're in their own category, and then we just leave it alone and go on about our business and like talk about the players of today. You know what I mean? Like, because the reason it just feels like just putting them randomly on the leaderboards was like the worst option of the three.
Yeah, because the reason why I asked that question in that way is, even if you did that with Warren Moon, you would never say that Warren Moon is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Right.
But yet I saw a whole bunch of articles throughout this time saying, oh, you can finally recognize Josh Gibson as one of the greatest baseball players of all time because of this.
Right.
So it's like, if this didn't exist, if you never did this, then you don't have to. Right, you wouldn't even care. But now we pushed them over here. Now we care. So that's
meanwhile, Josh Gibson was already one of the greatest baseball players ever, period. You know what I mean? Like, and that's part of the problem. Josh Gibson don't need anybody's validation. Josh Gibson was a monster, along with a lot of other players in the Negro Leagues, not just him. Like, he's the easiest example because they put him at the top. But like, he didn't need MLB's validation. I mean, he was a monster. Like, he's Josh Gibson. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to have him be at the top of the OPS list to all of a sudden say he was great. You know what I mean? Like, that's part of the problem too.
Yeah, no, and that's what my biggest fear is, that they try to use this to eventually down the line start whitewashing history, and we take away the impact and the fact that, like we've said, they weren't allowed to play in Major League Baseball. So to sit here and just automatically say, oh no, we have 5 new entrants into the top 10 batting averages of all time. It's like, no, you don't. Like you said, like that distinction matters. And so that is really, so like I said, the intention was good, especially with the new wing of the Hall of Fame that they're opening. But it's like the execution, it leaves, it gives you like a real cause to be skeptical, because it's like, how are y'all going to play this as we continue to go on?
Right. And then thing too, me, for people who, like, when I read it initially, I was, oh, that's good shit. Like, I didn't know the full like reasoning behind it. And then, Randy, when I saw your tweet, when I saw Shakia's tweet, and I texted, now it makes more sense. And then also, like you said, Bang, it kind of makes it look like the MLB, like, oh, well, now that we accept them now, they're legitimate. You know what I'm saying? Like this, we're gonna, with the MLB stamp, now we can recognize these guys. If they didn't have that stamp, it would just be like, oh, the Negro League was over here. And that might be something to somebody who's not as in tune with this. Somebody like me, it comes off like you can fool somebody who doesn't really know about what's going on as far as intentions were with trying to give these guys love. And like you said, Randy, I don't feel like there was in a meeting where they're like, oh, well, that there was negative intentions behind it. It's just the way you present things, and the presentation was off.
Yeah, I mean, MLB has a certain way of presenting everything, and it's very corporate marketing based. It's very like, this is the template. This is what we focus on. This is how we present it, and it's limited in its presentation. Like, you kind of can't step outside of that box.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, they're a big time global brand, and they're a corporation at the end of the day. So they're going to do things a particular way. So I think that that's also part of it, that there's no room for nuance here, because the way that it's presented is very definitive, and they're just announcing it, and there's like this corporate excitement for it when they present it, and then that's it. Yeah. And then we have conversations about it, and we kind of take the mantle, but like MLB just puts it out there, and then they go on about their business, and that's the end of it from their end.
Pretty much, man. Let's move on, man. Let's talk some current baseball, man. Let's talk about your New York Yankees right now, man. The Yankees are number 1 in the AL East right now with a 2-game lead over the Baltimore Orioles. You got 39-19 Aaron Judge continuing to be Aaron Judge. I feel like he had like a little slow start to the season. Now he got 18 homers, 41 RBIs. Juan Soto doing Juan Soto things, 15 homers, 49 RBI. And, you guys, you're supposed to be having Garrett Cole come back not too long from now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We know you have a Yankee podcast. Tell the people about the podcast. Now, I know you had it at first and then you guys stopped doing it. Let them know everything about your pod.
Yeah, so it's called The Views from 314 Feet. It's in honor of the short porch and right field that everybody hates when the Yankees hit a home run in that direction. So we had a blog of the same name before the pandemic. So in Yankees universe, the like go-to blog and like kind of the big time blog at the time was River Ave Blues. So it was like Mike Exisa, Ben, Joe, a couple other guys. They had that for a long time. And that was like really when like analytical baseball blogs were like coming up, and River Ave Blues kind of stood out from that group. So after a while, Mike shut the site down because he was basically doing it by himself for a couple of years. And I guess he got burned out. It was too much. So we knew that there was like a niche audience within the Yankee fan base that wanted something of that coverage. So Views took over and kind of like fit that bill for a while. Then the pandemic hit, and then like life happened to all of us. So I was doing the captain, Bobby, who's one of the co-founders. His job just like ramped up because he deals with like city government, PR and all that stuff. So like obviously with the pandemic, his life changed. Derek had a baby with his wife, so then life took over, and then it just became difficult. So we had the podcast for a while. Matt was teaching. Matt was also a part of it. And Matt and I were doing a podcast for a while, but like then I was doing the captain, and he had another child with his wife. So life got in the way, but I always wanted to do the podcast because I knew that there was like still an avenue for us to kind of like live in. And I don't think there are a lot of great baseball specific podcasts out there, to be quite honest. Like in basketball and football, they're all over the place, but in baseball, they're very few in my opinion. And I was cool with Chris, who covers the Yankees for The Athletic, and it was something that he wanted to do. I ran it by him, and he was like, yeah, this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. So we talked, and then we just combined forces and said, let's do it. And, it's doing well so far. It's, again, like when you just focus on one team, it's kind of like niche in a way, but like because the Yankee fans are so passionate and like are really into it, you have like a good committed fan base that can follow you. So that's how the podcast came together, and luckily for us, the team is like really good so far. So like people want to pay attention. The other thing too is like with the Knicks and the Rangers doing their thing for the playoffs, like people's attention have kind of been split.
Yeah.
Or like, they were cutting thirds for a while. Now, like some people focus on the Rangers and the Yankees, some are just the Yankees. But, I think as the summer goes on, we'll get even more attention and more focus on the Yankees.
Yeah, when you got a niche podcast, when you got like this diehard section that's gonna be waiting for. I know that with Seven Nights in Hollis is like you can do more in-depth stuff. You can do more inside baseball. So if I say, hey, let's do 10 minutes on Tevin Jenkins in the offensive line.
Right.
I got people who want to hear that. If I bring that on this show, there's gonna be like, all right, nigga, like this is talk about something else. I want to hear about Tevin Jenkins in the offensive line of the Bears. So I definitely understand that, and winning definitely helps the podcast as well. But speaking of, you guys are playing real good ball right now. The first quarter of the season is pretty much over. Last two times we had you on, we were talking about the hype going into the season. Well, the first time we had you on, when we did the holiday special, y'all didn't have Juan Soto yet, and then we brought you on right for the Super Bowl. You had him. Tell me just what your experience has been as a fan. Of course, it's difference between watching a player on one team compared to when they're on your team. Khalil Mack was good on one team, but when he was on my team, I was like, oh, I didn't know this dude was this good. How's it like been watching Juan Soto and just his whole team in general this year?
That's exactly what it is. That dude is like a million times better than I thought he was. And I knew he was great. It's just like that dude's changed the whole franchise. They have fun now. They smile. They jumping around. They're not as like corporate because they started to fall into that. A lot of energy, even the way that they attack like with the lineup. The Yankees have always been known for like power and patience. So they hit a lot of home runs and they grind at bats. Like that's been like a calling card for the Yankees for like decades. And they've been getting away from that for like a long time now. It's part of the reason why they don't win when they get to the playoffs. And this dude showed up and they like turned right back into like the old Yankees. Like they lead the league in pitches per plate appearance, on base percentage, like all these things that they used to do. And he's the main reason why they went right back to it. And he's clutch. His defense is better than it has been in the past. Like, he got dudes like, okay, so when you go to a Yankees game, when they would have a pitching change, you know, the outfielders talking the outfield and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like him and Verdugo, they show up and now they like playing games with the fans. They like getting the fans involved during pitching changes. And that might not sound like a big deal to people that watch this, but like if you were a Yankees fan, that is like the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life because like they actually acknowledge that they know that the fans are there, but like to actually like be mindful of them throughout the entire game is like unheard of. And because they're so focused and like we're business like blah, blah, blah. But like now they're having fun, you know what I mean? And like they engage the fans more. They got Stroman there. He's like interacting with people. He's hyping people up. Soto's constantly like hyping the fans up during the game, in the innings, like when there's an out, he's like doing all kind of shit with the fans. So it's like he's transformed not just how the team is performing, but how the team feels about itself and how the city feels about itself. And especially like as a Dominican player, there haven't been a lot of like big time Dominican Yankees.
Yeah.
And like if you know anything about New York, is heavily Puerto Rican, heavily Dominican.
Yeah, big Dominican population.
Yeah.
I don't know,
like,
not to cut you off. Did you see the interview with him and
Harold Reynolds?
When Harold Reynolds asked him, "Oh, has it been a hard transition as a Dominican?" I was like, "Have you been in New York?"
I'm like, yeah, that question was crazy. I was like, yo, fam, they're like 10 minutes away from Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Like Washington Heights is like 10,
right
15
there.
minutes away from there. So yeah, he was wilding with that. But really there have not been many Dominican star players on the Yankees. There's a couple, like you had A-Rod, you had Cano, but like somebody like Soto that just like fully embraces and like lets you know like he's Dominican, he's proud to be Dominican. Not that the other guys weren't. I'm not saying about A-Rod or Cano.
Yeah.
But like he's just energized that part of the fan base because a lot of people don't realize, if you're not from New York, there's a lot of Red Sox and Padres Dominican fans because of the representation on the other teams.
Right.
So like now that Soto's there, he's grabbing a lot of those fans back to the home team. So like, yeah, man, he's made like a huge impact, like even more than I thought he could make. And he's a big reason.
Like he really likes it there too. Like,
oh yeah,
he's San Diego. It just didn't feel like fit wise. Like I feel like it was a good team. They went to the NLCS, but it didn't feel like he belonged there. New York, he belongs there.
Yeah, he's a Dominican in New York.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's playing well. Like, you know, not to like simplify it like that, but I mean that's what it is. And like I know there was talk of like Manny Machado and Soto not getting along in San Diego, so that's something to do with it. But like you have somebody like Aaron Judge that just embraces everybody. He's the captain. Like there's no division in the clubhouse. Everybody's on the same page. Like everybody's embraced and like respected and like a part of the team. So for him to come in there, Soto, I mean that was natural. I mean, I don't think he'd go anywhere. Like they just going to give him the Brinks truck. They won't bring nobody else back, but he'll be there. So,
and that was my next question for you because we seen Michael K was on Rich Eisen a couple days ago, and he was on there saying like, you know, it will be insane, obviously, for you know, he's a Scott Boras guy, for him not to hit the market. Like that's why he doesn't expect any deal to happen before that. But then you also had Hal come out saying, you know, basically, you know, same thing Cubs fans heard Jed Hoyer say. We're not trying to spend too much. We're out the van. But Juan Soto is like, I don't think people who don't watch Juan Soto watch baseball know how good this dude is. Like, he already has a World Series ring. Like, this dude is like
He was like 14 when
he was
won
like
that
14
thing.
when they,
Yeah.
when they won.
He
Like,
young as shit.
he's
Yeah.
super young, and like he is. And technically, he's not even in his prime yet. So to me, that's a
Right.
blank check. In general, I give them whatever they want. You say you're not concerned. You think that? What do you think the number starts? And do you think there's any number that Hal might be like, look, I love Juan, but that's a little bit too rich for my blood?
I mean, I think if you get to the Ohtani number, then I think Hal will start freaking out. But like, I know Hal said the thing about the payroll, but the thing he said before that is we want Juan Soto. Like he's very clear. Like, to Hal's credit on this specific thing, he's been very public and clear that he does not want Juan Soto going anywhere. He's flat out said he wants him to retire as a Yankee. So like, I think they're going to do what they need to do to get him and keep him, because if they don't, like, Yankees fans are going to check out. Like, they're going to, even if they win the World Series,
they're going to check
Soto
out.
leaves, they're going to riot. There's going to be like a big problem. Like, Soto's been
And
so
don't let
good.
him join the West Coast Avengers over there,
Right, exactly.
in Chavez Ravine.
Right. So like, Soto's been so good that you can say on like May 31st, that the Yankees have to sign him. Like, they don't have a choice. Like, I know people talking about the Mets. Nobody's going to the Mets.
Nobody want to go to the Mets. Nobody want to play for Bobby Axelrod.
Yeah, like, we're not doing that. So the Yankees don't have a choice at this point. Like, something crazy would have to happen between now and the end of the season for that to be different. But the Yankees don't have a choice. Like, they don't have a say in the matter anymore. He has them bent over, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just like, this is the number I want. This is the amount of years you're gonna have to meet me here. And I don't think Hal could do anything. That's why I'm saying they're not gonna sign anybody else. It's just gonna be Juan Soto, and there you go, and have a nice winter, and see y'all next year. You know what I mean? So
two more questions for you, man, and we're gonna get you out of here. One Yankee, and then I gotta ask you a Niners question. We just gotta do that. One, any concerns about the Yankees? I know with the Yankees, like, it's been 13 years since you guys won. Actually, no, it's
14.
15.
We're on the 15th year.
Yeah, going on 15 years, which
that's like 500 years.
I was about to say, for Yankee fans, that's like a century. Like, so, you made these playoff appearances, and you haven't gotten, I don't think you guys went to ALCS in 2017. Is there anything?
No, they were there in 22.
Okay, 22. I'm tripping. Yeah, 22. Is there anything that you think is standing away from this team? Like, I think this is going to be a battle to the end for the division. Baltimore is really good, but what about this team stands out from past Yankee teams that makes you a little bit more confident that we can get to the World Series this year?
Their lineup balance is way better. The Yankees always needed left-handed hitters, and they didn't have them for a while, and that hurt them. And now they have like the best left-handed hitter in the game, or arguably. The lineup is much deeper. Anthony Volpe has taken like that big step up as the shortstop. They've had like issues at shortstop for years, since like Didi Gregorius left. So they have shortstop covered. The lineup is much deeper. Aaron Judge is like the best player in the game. And their pitching's better. Their pitching is, they're doing all of this while Garrett Cole. You know what I mean? Garrett Cole's the best pitcher in the league. And the Yankees right now have the best rotation, at least statistically, in the league right now. So like, the things holding them back is health. So like, their big one of their big pitchers, Clark Schmidt, is going to be out for a couple months. He just got hurt. The Yankees always get hurt. So like, that's always around the corner. Like, it's also like the 49ers, like that's always around the corner. And then the bullpen. They're like, one weakness is the bullpen. They have to add to the bullpen at some point. But beyond that, like, they're the best team in the league right now. Like, their pitching is great. Their hitting's great. I think they lead in like ERA and OPS or something. Okay. So, I'm like, I feel good, but it's a long season. It's only May 31st. Like, a lot of things can change. So, I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself, but like, they should be the odds-on favorite right now to win the World Series if we were talking right now. So that's a good place to be to start the season off.
Definitely, man. Last question. Let's go on to your San Francisco 49ers, man. Coming off this loss to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I feel like you guys are kind of going under the radar this offseason so far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, with a lot of the last year, it was what's Brock Purdy gonna do. You know, Brock Purdy had a pretty solid year this year. Coming into this, there's been like talks of every other team. Of course, we in Chicago, we're like on the full.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams put cheese on the sandwich today, people. Like,
Yeah.
when we're on full, Caleb did anything watch right now, and especially with Hard Knocks, it's going to go to another level. What's something that you feel like hasn't been talked about? Like, do you think this is going to be any change in the season? What are you expecting from the Niners? Well, I kind of feel like they're kind of in the same position as the Celtics, where it's like, okay, when are you guys gonna win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Like, what's your thought?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
that's all it is now. You got to win a Super Bowl. Like, they should have won this year. You know, like Dre Greenlaw gets hurt. The punt goes off somebody's foot. The right guard forgets to block the best D tackle in the league besides Aaron Donald in overtime. You know what I mean?
Type things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like those little things. If you execute them, like they should have beat the Chiefs twice. I know shoulda, woulda, coulda. It didn't happen. But like those are the margins. You know what I mean? And I think at this point, the only conversation with the 49ers centers around you have to win the Super Bowl. Like, we know you're good. We don't have to talk about Purdy. We don't have to talk about the roster. Like, none of that stuff. Like, you have to win the Super Bowl. You got to figure this out. And, like, that's going to hang around Kyle until he wins. Like, he's going to win one at some point. I don't know when. I don't know if it's with the Niners, but he should win one at some point. But, yeah, that's the conversation. And I think they're under the radar because they're so good. They're always there. Yeah. And they don't need to, and they didn't have the room to make splashy moves. You know what I mean? So, like, you guys got Caleb. You guys got
Keenan Allen.
Right. You got Keenan Allen. You got Adunze. Like, you guys are, like, making big moves that can, like, really elevate the team quickly. So, like, a lot of focus is going to go towards that. We were signing, like, no-name starting defensive tackles. You know what I mean? So, like, nobody going to pay attention to us. But the thing is, they didn't need to do all of that. They have the best roster in the league. You know what I mean? And like, really the only talk now is, are they going to extend Ayuk, which they're going to extend Ayuk. Like, is this Debo's last year? And
they've been talking about the Debo thing for like 3 years at this point.
Man, yeah, it's crazy, bro. And it's like a lot of people, there's two things. Like, people don't understand how the cap works. And they don't know how the Niners, like, basically manipulate the cap all the time. Sorry, my Alexa's going off right now. They don't understand that the Niners constantly waive the salary cap. So they're not like the Saints and they're not like the Rams. Like, they basically have found a cheat code to stay under the cap so that when the cap rises, they're always good. You know what I mean? Like, they had to get rid of Armstead because of that. But so be it. So yeah, I mean, they have a great roster. They needed to add their depth. But I will say this, because I know we spoke before the Super Bowl. I think the biggest improvement is going to be a defensive coordinator. That's going to be the difference. Like, no disrespect to Steve Wilkes, black coach. I was happy that he was there. But, like, they didn't connect at all. And people were saying he was a scapegoat. It was like, nah, he was getting fired if they won the Super Bowl. Like, it never worked. Like,
yeah, I said that, and I had all the Niner faithful in my mentions. Like, nope,
nah, nah. Like, I mean, it didn't work from day one. Like, even him being like up in the box, people had an issue with. You know what I mean? And like, they were never connected. Like, I've never seen a Kyle Shanahan run defense be that terrible, and that's the reason why he wasn't going to stay there. Like, he couldn't connect to the line and the linebackers. That's the 49ers identity. So they got Brandon Staley to help out the new DC, Nick Sorensen, who's been with the Niners for a while. So I think the biggest change is going to be there, where they go back to like really being great on defense, not just because they have great players, but because the actual scheme helps them. So
what? It's going to be interesting, man. I'm looking forward to this season. I'm rounding up because June is tomorrow. Training camp is next month, folks. Yeah. I don't know when the Niners mandatory camp. I know the Bears mandatory camp is Tuesday. I will be there. And it's going to be we're ramping up. You know what I'm saying? As we're getting ready for the season, man. But
wait, but how do you feel? How do you feel about Hard Knocks? How do you feel about that?
The fan in me loves it. The medium in me hates it because now I gotta get to Lake Forest, Illinois, which is already an hour and a half drive as it is earlier, because it's gonna have to deal with traffic. Like, it was gonna be a zoo with the fans this year, because it was crazy last year, and this year's gonna be times 40. But to add that in there, I'm just hoping I get a little cameo. Maybe they catch me at the vending machine or something when DeAndre Swift is doing something on camera or whatever. Like, so, and that they don't edit me out. That's the only thing I'm hoping for. But I'm excited for it because the Bears never do things like this. Like, Evan, I found it very interesting, and we'll talk about this with Mikey in a minute, that McCaskey, he didn't have a quote in the press release that I received yesterday. It was Matt Eberflus, Ryan Poles, and my man TED Talk Kevin Warren. Them the only ones whose name was on there. But I think it's gonna be fun. All the eyes on Bears fans, and there's excitement and there's worry about. Like I've been telling Bears fans, like, it can't get worse than what it's been. Like, okay, like, learn to love Bears fans. That's what I've been saying. So I'm excited about it. So I'm definitely. I went to an OTA practice last week. I didn't go today, but I will be there Tuesday and Thursday next week for mandatory camp. So I'm looking forward to getting this season started, man. But let everybody know where they can follow you, man, where they can find your podcast and everything you got going on, bro.
Yeah, so I'm Pam Son on Twitter, PAMSSON, and the Views from 314 Feet podcast is on all podcast platforms, and we have a YouTube channel for the podcast of the same name. So Pam Son and Views from 314 Feet podcast.
Definitely, man. Y'all get in tune with, man, everything he got going on, man. Always good to holler at you, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We're going to bring in our homie, our Puerto Rican brother, Mikey. How's it going, dog?
What's the word? Happy Friday, y'all.
Happy Friday, man. What's going on over there, dog?
Shit, man. Just chilling. Getting ready to spend some time with the family this weekend. Got a couple of them high school graduations and shit. So
you got a couple trips to like Cracker Barrel. You know, that's one, or like a Giordano.
Cracker Barrel. What you talking about, bro? These shorties eat shrimp and steak, bro. They talking RPM Italian and shit. Like, come on.
Wow. High school is upgraded. My bad. Bad. High school is upgraded.
I'm mad that you said Cracker Barrel, not like Shooters, nigga, or some shit, G.
I don't even know. I'm be real. I don't know what Shooters is.
Oh shit. Well, fuck it.
Nigga, Cracker Barrel would be good graduation food, nigga.
I ain't that fam.
Is Shooters like Old Country Buffet or some shit?
Yes.
Okay. Like Smoke Shoney's or some shit.
Yeah, some shit. It's nasty. They said they was upscale Old Country Buffet.
Old Country Buffet used to be that shit back in the 90s, nigga, when it was actually like Old Country Buffet. When they had that joint up in Ford City, nigga. Like,
nigga, I'm gonna tell you why I hate shit like that. Cause when I was on a baseball team in Morehouse, win, lose, or draw, we hit a Golden Corral.
Golden Corral is nasty. Not it's a food.
It's at the corral.
Yeah, the corral look like you at a cafeteria. Like, that presentation is nasty.
Well, similar to Dante, when I played baseball in college in Iowa. Motherfuckers that end up at CC's Pizza.
Hey, what school in Iowa?
CC's Pizza.
What school in Iowa?
University of Dubuque.
Okay, I spent time at William Penn.
Okay.
This nigga Bang went everywhere. Bang like the Dos Equis man.
Low key, me and Bang a little more connected than I'm starting to notice every more and more.
Yeah, my cousin played football at William Penn. I was very successful out there.
Very successful.
Very successful. I know what that means. I know what that means. But we gonna move on, man. We got a couple topics to get into, man, over this next hour. Like I said, no local hour today, so we're gonna get into some local talk later on in the show, man. But I actually want to start this with two more NBA topics. One being LeBron James, Mr. Bronny James, LeBron James Jr. has announced he's going to be standing in the draft. That I don't think was the surprising part. The surprising part was it coming out that his uncle Rich Paul, is saying that basically we're not taking any two-way deals. You niggas better actually draft him so he can get that guaranteed 2-3 year contract. And I'm gonna keep saying this because people gonna act like I'm talking about the kid. I have no problem with this. If I was Rich Paul and I was the agent of my basically my nephew, I'd be on the same thing. But the nigga canceling workouts and said he's only going to work out for the Lakers and the Phoenix Suns. Now, Woj came out the other day and said the Phoenix Suns are legitimately interested in LeBron and Bronny, not just pipe dream. Let's see if we can get his daddy. They're legitimately interested in Bronny. My whole thing, that's a fine on me for coughing on there. My bad. But my whole thing is this: what I've always said with Bronny is I hope whoever drafts him has an actual plan in place to develop this kid, and not just because they want to get his daddy. But I have been a LeBron James, or I retired from the LeBron James hater class about a year or two ago. But in my time, I'm very up on LeBron's moves. He's strategic, but he ain't low at the same time. I know what's going on here. This is all leading up to the Lakers drafting him at pick 54. I mean, pick 55. But they had 55 and they have the 17th pick. And pick 55, and then he dropped in the rankings to the 54th ranked player in the country. So now it won't look like a big reach if they draft him at 55. And this is eventually going to lead to him being on the Lakers and LeBron being able to get his King Griffey Jr., King Griffey Sr. moment on with Bronny. My thing is I see the play a mile away. I think it's going to work. But this could backfire on them if some teams are like, nah, we're not doing that. And even the Lakers might be like, look, we need more players. And we're not going to waste this on your kid no matter how much, you want us to do it. Mikey, what you think about this whole Bronny situation and really like the pieces that are being put in place right now?
Honestly, man, like if he wasn't LeBron's son, nobody would be talking about him, So I get it. When you're somebody of that stature, like you said, you got Rich Paul, that's his Theo, that's his uncle. You got Clutch Sports, you got LeBron there. They're gonna do what they can to make sure that he gets in the league. But please, if this was any other player from USC to average 4 points a game in 19 minutes,
man,
he would not be drafted. They would be talking about transfer portal. They would be talking about returning back to school and getting it, trying to improve your game because he's nowhere near ready. For me, like I can't fault it. Like, if my father was in position to do something like that, then that's kind of like what I would hope he would do. Eventually, I think he does end up on the Lakers. Also, like if we go to the whole canceling workout stuff, to me, that says promise. That means one of those teams has already promised him a spot, because when you start canceling workouts, you have to have some idea where you're going. Now, I've just seen a report that just came out over the last 10 minutes ago that the Philadelphia 76ers are considered a serious suitor for Bronny as well. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. I don't think he's ready. I think at the very least he's gonna be a good defensive, player. I don't know if he's even gonna see the floor. His rookie season, he shouldn't see the floor. But what can you do when your father's LeBron James and you got this type of pool? Then this is kind of what comes with it.
I wonder if Bronny actually wants to play with his daddy. Like, I feel like that's something we're not asking him. I'm like, I don't know if I love my dad. I don't know if I want to play with him. Like, granted, my dad ain't really
said it. He's never really said it. It's really been LeBron that's always said it,
Yeah.
No,
Bronny,
he always say my dad wouldn't do that. He said,
Yeah.
My dad's mentioned a couple of times. He said, that's not my thing.
Bronny want to be on the road fucking hoes, all right?
That's my
You
point.
can't do that with your dad. You know
Thank
what I'm
you,
saying?
Mikey.
Like I want
Exactly where
I want to be a young man with millions in the league, moving on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like Bronny want to be
trying to hoop with a chaperone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, bro. Trust me. Bronny want to be out here fucking hoes, living his life and experiencing the league on his own. He don't need his dad. His dad is probably gonna put in some work ethic in him, especially if they're on the same team, on the road. Training, take this shit serious, but nah, Bronny want to enjoy his life, man.
Yeah. And just quick side note, because this is Barbershop Network and we never stay on topic. We were talking about breaking news and stuff. So, Hollywood Reporter says that Giancarlo Esposito is entering the MCU. He's gonna be in that new Captain America movie. So I'm interested to see what that nigga's gonna be in.
I thought you was finna announce they postponed the Mike Tyson fight.
No, it did. It did get postponed. I sent
it to the chat. I'm just bullshitting. I know nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck.
Look, man,
Mike need that bag.
Yeah,
need to cancel that shit.
I'm in full Whams mode because Michelle Obama's mom, Marion,
she just passed. Yeah.
So I'm in full whams mode while we're doing the show. Look
Yeah,
at
I was
me,
like,
multitasking.
oh shit, my nigga Giancarlo Esposito. I've been wanting him to be in the MCU for a minute, so he'll be in it. That movie looking like it might be good. But anyway, Bane, what you think about this Bronny thing? I think Mikey, you hit the nail on the head. Like, I understand why some people are upset that he's getting this coverage. We do know that if he wasn't LeBron James' son, he wouldn't be getting this coverage. But at the same time, people will be naive to understand why he isn't, to be mad at why he's getting this coverage. Because I personally have no problem with nepotism. I wish black people were in power to do it more. So from that perspective, I love it. I'm just looking at the kid. Like, he's going to be basically getting Austin Reeves water next year if he's on this team. Like Mikey, like you just said, he can't go out and enjoy his life. You think he want to go to highlight room with his daddy? No. Like, no. Like, he wants to enjoy the rookie thing and be, I'm LeBron's son. Like, who's gonna go? But if you got your daddy there, it's just not gonna be what I think he would want it to be. So,
Right.
Bane, what you think about this whole situation and kind of feels like this master plan that Bron and Rich Paul are putting together?
Hey, I'm conflicted. That's the best way of saying it. I'm conflicted because I am all for a father doing whatever he can for his kid. I'm all for that. But I don't think that, if Rich Paul and company is saying that we're trying to put him in the right position, I don't think this is the right position. Bronny is, at least in my opinion, and it looks like in the opinion of a lot of scouts, is not ready to be an NBA player. He can use another year of college, but if he's going to not do that, then he should be a two-way player, or he should spend a decent amount of time in the G League, and they don't want that to happen. So, if they don't want that to happen, then like you said, he's going to be like Austin Reeves water boy. Where is the reps going to come from? Like Scotty, let's use Scottie Pippen Jr. as an example, right? Scottie Pippen Jr. was a Laker, right? And he didn't get no reps, and he didn't get no reps really like that on the main roster. So they sent him to the G League and stuff. All right, where is Bronny's reps going to come from? I understand that everybody's like, yo, it's LeBron's son and blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is that's what y'all keep saying. LeBron's son. You're not saying, that he's going to be a good prospect or anything like that. You're only basing this on the fact that he's LeBron's kid. Well, look, man, until somebody show me how this has been hella successful in NBA, we have none of that. And for those people who are talking about the nepotism thing and they're using Giannis's brother Thanos and the Kosov, whatever his name is.
And by the way, Thanos was really good in them like Greek leagues. I just want to get that out there.
Well, but you're talking about Thanos. You're talking about the other brother who just won the title. You're talking about the Maker brothers. Rest in peace. Not being disrespectful to him, but you're talking about Drew Gordon. I've seen people use Drew Gordon's name. I've seen people use Javante Porter's name. I've seen people use J.R. Smith's brother name. These are all the brothers of star or consistent NBA players that's gotten the league probably because of their brother. No disrespect to any of those guys. What I'm saying is it's different because it's father and son. Also, and probably even more importantly, LeBron James don't want his son compared to them guys. Like using Thanos, how do you say his name? Thanos is a victory cigar. He's African Jack Haley right now. When I get in the game is over with. You think Bron wants his son compared to be in the same named in the same breath? Is that man right there? So even when people use those names right there, y'all doing Bronny James a disservice. That's not what LeBron wants. But guess what those guys did? Those guys played up in the G League. Those guys was once two-way players. Those guys saw some type of success there, and either they grew or they went overseas and did more. Bronny they've already said they're not going to do that. So how are you setting this man up to win? When LeBron James is gone in 2 or 3 years tops, then where Bronny gonna be? His ceiling is probably Javon Carter, G. No disrespect to Maywood.
And we said that, nigga. If he Javon Carter, nigga, he had a good career. Shit, like the niggas over here saying, oh, he can be Josh Hart played ball very, very well. Like what are we doing? This is no disrespect.
I stand by that statement.
Yeah, that was you who said that. My bad.
I stand by
Oh,
that
wait,
statement.
Josh Hart was a contributor on a national
Yeah, Josh
championship.
Hart
I
was nuts,
understand.
Like, you know,
Once again, he had a heart attack like 6 months ago, my nigga. Like, I'm just saying,
Right.
like, I agree. I think he should have stayed in college. I don't think this was the move.
Too.
I don't think this was the move for them at all. But at the same time, LeBron, like I said, this is his grand finale, showing you know, flexing his power like nobody has ever flexed before. And I think it's just a situation of where he gets drafted with Phoenix. I know Phoenix has the you know, the history of developing players. You saw Campaign go there and get his career back on track. So I would like it in Phoenix, especially because they need more role players, more bench players, and that's somewhere where he would definitely know off rip that there are no expectations for you outside of developing as a player and as an individual. So that makes sense. But no, I think like Bang said, him and his pops are gonna have their Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. moment. He won't get many minutes, but I think it's one of those things where at the end of the day, LeBron has set this up to where even if the Lakers don't give him that super Kobe deal, that, you know, that big last bag, this could be that. Like, okay, we're gonna give you a respectable contract,
Yeah.
right.
we're gonna draft your son. You feel me? So you can have that moment. So I think
You
that's
know,
possible.
you know what this does? This just gives the Bron versus MJ convo people. This just gonna give Bron another thing to put in because they're gonna be like, Mike's sorry ass kids ain't playing the league. LeBron's kid's son did. You know, so that's gonna be right. that's gonna be something that people are gonna use. You know, we know how this shit is, especially on Twitter and barbershop talk. That's gonna be ammunition. Mike wasn't able to get his kids in the league. Look what Bron did for his son. Bron put his kids first. Bron's sons were actually good enough to make it to the NBA. Mike's kids weren't. Like, that's gonna be, you know, part of the story.
And then when he running LeBron James shoe factory in 2 years after he get done playing, that's when nigga like me gonna come back. Well, hey, he scored 0 points against the Sacramento Kings. But anyway, but no, Mike, you correct though. Niggas will bring that up. But let's move on. I kind of want to just quickly talk about this little topic. As a couple weeks ago, remember, Bang, we were talking about who's gonna come over to the NBC side when it comes to like these you know, negotiation deals with TNT losing everything. And from what we're hearing today, the new deal is probably going to be announced right after the NBA Finals is up to announce that Amazon and NBC will be the new carrying partners, especially with, I don't know if y'all saw Inside last night where this was the last show. I think Ernie said like next year will be a blast. And then Ernie was like, you mean next year will be last? And, you know, they just had that little joke. But an article came out today. We're already talking about people who are going to actually be part of the crew. So NBC is currently trying to court Ali LaForest, who's a sideline reporter for Turner Sports.
Okay.
They're trying to recruit Draymond Green.
I see that.
They're trying to recruit Grant Hill. And they're saying that the inside crew is going to be broken up. Ernie's going to be staying to Turner. Kenny's going to end up being collateral damage because he's the lower profile, and that both NBC is going to be going after Shaq and Chuck. And Chuck has a big relationship with the head of NBC because he used to be the head of Turner. He was the guy who brought him over in the first place. So they're going to be going after Shaq and Chuck together. Maria Taylor isn't universally loved at NBC, and she could be on her way out as far as the football coverage is. And Amazon is going after Iron Eagle to replace Al Michaels. Because Al Michaels is going to be retiring, and then Amazon is going after Kevin Harlan to take care of the NBA coverage.
That's a fire 1-2 punch. Amazon is on the shit because Iron Eagle and Kevin Harlan, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. So we're already seeing names starting to get shuffled away, and I wouldn't be shocked. I don't know if even if it's only for the inaugural season of bringing them back, I would not be shocked if my man Bob Costas comes back and does a couple things. Give my main man Ahmad Rashad. If I'm gonna lose inside the NBA, give me the people I grew up on. And
yes,
I like this splash of Newtown they're bringing in. Hope they give Jamal Crawford a call. I love what I saw him in the playoffs this year. Bang, what you think about some of these names being thrown around as far as these
you just made my day. Yes, you did. Look, I love inside the NBA. I'm upset, but Thanos, hey man, what did you get? What you have to give up? We have to give up
Everything.
inside the NBA to get round ball rock, man. I can't wait to hear that music. I can't wait till the peacock, the lights around the peacock shine and boom, and the music come on. But also new blood, man. Some new blood. So seeing Grant Hill possibly in a bigger role, I love that. I do hope that Jamal Crawford comes over. Draymond Green, even though I think it was, I forgot who it was that was hating on Draymond Green the other day on the coverage. I can't remember who it was, but they was hating on my man. What's my man? The dude that used to be on ESPN and doing the podcast. Got the white dude with the bald head nigga. Ryan Root.
Oh, Ryan.
Ryan
Russillo.
Russillo.
Ryan Russillo was hating on Draymond Green real heavy. But Draymond Green is showing himself to be very capable of getting the job done, and I am looking forward to seeing him do more as he retires. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at players, and I'm looking at players where if and when they retire. So even though he probably won't be retired when it starts on NBA on NBC, but man, if Tom Brady is doing games, I can't wait till they throw the bag at LeBron James. I cannot wait till they throw the bag at LeBron James to do the studio coverage for NBA on NBC.
That would be hilarious. I wonder what that would be. I think LeBron can pull it off. I think LeBron can pull it off. I can tell from his podcast with JJ, LeBron can pull that off for sure.
And he's a student of the game, so he ain't well spoken. So
my take is Tom Brady's not going to do a bad job. I think Tom Brady's going to be good.
I think he's going to be decent. But look, Kevin Harlan, I don't want to not hear that voice playing with the NBA. To me, I'm more of a Kevin Harlan fan than I am a Mike Breen fan. I've always been a Kevin Harlan fan.
I'm not mad at that take.
So to see him with Grant Hill, Ali LaForce over there on the sidelines, like I'm all in on that right there. As long as we can find a place for Jamal Crawford, and I'm still saying that JJ Redick will be on NBC coverage because he would be fired by then by the LA Lakers.
So you giving JJ one season with the Lakers?
I'm giving that man one season, Jack.
You know, I actually think there's gonna be a lot of turn. I think Reggie's gonna be over there at NBC. I really, or they gonna, or ESPN gonna throw Reggie a bag. I think Reggie's gonna be either an ESPN or there, and I also think that. Wouldn't shock me, since Taylor Brooks is already doing coverage for the NFL, wouldn't shock me Amazon use it for the NBA too. Dante, what you think about some of these names getting thrown around?
I ain't gonna say I don't care too much, but I'm not really too excited about it. I just want them to leave them old niggas at home. I understand the nostalgia. Maybe have them for like literally opening night.
Yeah, opening night.
I think that would be dope.
I'm not saying have Amar Rashad for a full season.
No. We know that's dead. But like, I don't need no pop-ins throughout the year. Just give me once, throw it back, for just a time and let Bob Costas do his thing. That's cool. But I would like to see them put some new groups together. Just see what we can do, because I think you don't want to get the voices to get too stale. And like with Ernie, I think that's tough. Like that is gonna be tough. I feel like you kind of have to do a new format as opposed to the traditional just 4-man. If you're gonna have, Chuck and Shaq, and then probably Draymond pop up there because he's done work with them as well. So I think that would be tough to just try to recreate that with a new host. So I'm interested to see how they do that.
They're gonna throw Lefko on there, bro. I can almost
either that or I think they would see what Maria Taylor trying to do. Like, she's that good.
They just said that she's going to be on. She might be on the way out. That they don't really like her at NBC.
Damn.
That she might say, Maria Taylor is in University Love the NBC and could be on her way out.
I'm gonna keep it real. I don't give a fuck about any of this because it's not gonna change the fact that the Bulls are gonna be shooting 3 from 27 from 3 on a Wednesday evening versus the Hornets. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we know they damn sure ain't gonna be fucking broadcasting us. We won't be on NBC
Sunday night. Because you do know when this new deal kicks in after next season, that after the NFL goes off, it's gonna be basketball night.
Basketball night in America.
The Bulls ain't gonna be on basketball night in America. I tell you that right now.
They barely on basketball night on the West Side.
Basketball night on the west side. Mikey, like, this doesn't affect my gambling. So I
This don't I stood away from the NBA gambling wise. That shit is the devil. That shit is crooked. That shit is a scam. We should fuck the NBA.
And I will see y'all late October.
Hey, speaking of betting, I've already put my my $10 bet in for the Bears in the Super Bowl, and I have a parlay currently right now that has Caleb Williams as offensive rookie of the year, Jared Verse is defensive rookie of the year, and Joe Burrow is MVP.
Perfect segue. Bang the segue king. Where everybody wants to know. Hard Knocks time, baby. It officially got announced last night. We talked about this on the show, I think like a week ago. Yeah, it was actually a week ago. Me, Bang, and Mikey talked about it in the local hour. Like, man, 1920 football drive just sealed it for me. Well, it was officially announced last night by the NFL, by HBO, by Adam Schefter, the Chicago Bears. Oh, yeah, 2024 training camp. And I got to say training camp, there's 3 different versions of Hard Knocks now. There's the offseason Hard Knocks with the New York Giants. And I want to sit up here and act like I'm not going to watch it, but I'm a football junkie. I will be watching it. And then you got the training camp one, and then they're going to have the in-season, which is going to be focused on divisions now. And I think the Bears being the focal point just takes the NFC North out of that. I'm pretty sure the Bears didn't. Y'all niggas ain't following us through training camp and the season. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be taken out of there. But, Mikey, I'm going to go to you first, man. What's your initial thoughts on this? We've been talking about this for months, obviously. What's your thoughts and what's some things you're expecting or that you want to see from Hard Knocks for the Bears?
For me, what I really want to see is I want to see those training camp battles. I want to see that secondary show their personality. You got guys like, Tyreek Stevenson, Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon going up against, a top 5, top 10 for sure wide receiver group with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze. You already know they're going to be talking crazy to Caleb. Scott, you've been there during OTAs. That's a loud group. Even when Justin was there, they will let the offense know if they're owning them that day. So I want to see that. I want to dive a little bit more into into Caleb Williams. I think he's tailor made for something like this. He's got superstar potential. He's not afraid of the bright lights. And the biggest thing for me is I think this is going to just put the Chicago Bears organization on the map league-wide. They're going to be able to see the renovations that were done, at Hallis Hall. One of the best things that Ryan Pace was in charge of was the whole renovation of Hallis Hall and the workout facility, the state-of-the-art everything, and let people know that the Bears are not really, operating anymore as a mom-and-pop shop. They're here to operate in the new NFL era, and they're ready to take everything that comes with it. So I think we're going to see stadium talks. I think we're going to see training camp battles with the wide receivers and the DBs. I think we're going to see Caleb Williams' personality. I think we're going to see some storylines of some guys that we might not know their personality might shine, like somebody like a Tevin Jenkins or, a DJ Moore who's funny as fuck. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to rock with it. I think this now, if you're asking me, I think you should put the AFC North in the in-season Hard Knocks, or the NFC East with Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Tua, and then the rookie QB in New England. That would be really good television. So I'm happy for the Bears. I'm happy as far as I'm always down for more NFL content. So the fact that it's us for 6 weeks, I'll be there for it.
Bang, man, what you expecting? What you looking for in Hard Knocks this year?
Looking for it all, fam. I can't wait. I'm looking to see how Caleb Williams grow throughout training camp. I'm looking at the offensive line because I feel like that's going to be something that all of us is going to want to pay attention to. We've been shitting on this offensive line for 2 years. Yes, they have improved, but we've been shitting on them. Now with a potentially better, more crisper quarterback, will that offensive line be better because their quarterback? That's something that I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at that defensive line and seeing if Gervon Dexter Sr. Can be the anchor, the 3-tech that people have been looking for. I'm looking to see Jalen Johnson, Now you got your money. What's going to go on? Eberflus, I'm looking forward to see how he coaches. Like you see more than I see, of course, Scott, because you be at these joints. Now I think it gives the world a chance to see pretty unassuming head coach. You know, people start paying attention to Buddy when he got the 5 o'clock shadow. And then we're looking to see, you know, Bunk and how he does. Oh, and Shane Waldron and that offense, the offensive staff, looking at too. But most importantly, we're looking at the training camp battles and seeing who's gonna get cut and not get cut. We're looking to see that young kid, that free agent, that undrafted free agent, or that, you know, that off the street free agent who's going to come in and possibly make a name for himself. I'm interested in seeing how those battles for some of those positions is going to be. So I'm looking forward to all, man. Must see TV.
Dante, what you looking forward to and what you want to see?
I'm just looking forward to seeing how Caleb handles the spotlight more than anything. Mainly because a lot of my personal questions I already know won't be answered by Hard Knocks. Like I said this to somebody, and I wasn't saying it to be like a Debbie Downer type of nigga, but like the storylines in Hard Knocks are already set. You're gonna have your bubble roster guys, you're gonna have your superstar rookie and Caleb, you're gonna have your vets. They probably gonna do Jalen because he just got his bag, you know, or DJ, whichever has more personality. But a lot of that, you know, it's just gonna be the typical Hard Knocks lines you get. So I'm really storylines you get. So I'm just interested to see how Caleb handles this superstardom. You know, obviously he's been in the spotlight in LA for the past 2 years. Now coming to the league, and the league automatically letting them know this is pretty much I feel like the official notice, which we already knew that, hey, we like this kid. So we're gonna do everything we can to put him in these positions, in these spotlights, having a spotlight on them. That's why I think you'll see some of our games get flexed later in the season if the record is what we think it'll be. But more than anything, I'm just interested to see how Caleb reacts to the official start of his superstardom. Like I know we talk all the NIL shit and he was a rock star in college. College is college, the pros is the pros. And so I want to see how he reacts, how he adjusts to that. And then other than that, I don't think there's ever been a season of Hard Knocks I didn't like, so I'm gonna fuck with it.
For me, from a selfish aspect, I want to get a cameo. You know, niggas think I'm joking. I'm dead ass. I'm gonna try what I can. Like, even if you only see me for like a second, like, you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to get a cameo on that joint. I'm gonna try to be friends with one of these camera niggas. Like, yo, yeah, the bathroom over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they ask me a question. You know, sometimes they interview beat writers. I know it's probably gonna be like one of them Tribune niggas or something, but you know, I'll let a nigga, man. That's what I want from a selfish perspective. But from a fan, I think it's gonna be fun just for me to see stuff that I see in person on TV, and I can tell what's been edited. I can tell, that conversation didn't really go that way, or this didn't really go that way. Like, what was changed for TV? Because we know a lot of that stuff, they might have brought certain stuff out and things like that. I'll be more in tune with certain players who got cut or what it was like at this day. And since we know it's a week by week thing, that's when I'm interested in and to see. And what you just said, Mikey, this kind of be like I won't say introduction, but kind of introduction for the Chicago Bears for a lot of younger fans because they've been bad so long. Like, yes, they're the charter franchise, but if you're not at least my age or our age, or especially older, you don't know about any of them guys from the 80s Bears. So if you're a young fan and you just know the Bears is sucking, you don't know anything about their history. So we know they're gonna have a little bit of history aspect in it. You're gonna see more cameos, probably from some Bears alumni this year. I wouldn't shock me if we get Lance Briggs is always there. Spice comes a couple times. Peanuts always there. But
for sure with the Hall of Fame, and for sure with the Hall of Fame game,
like wouldn't surprise me if Devin shows up to a practice or two.
Wait a minute, when you realize that they got everything.
Yeah, we got everything. Yeah. We got everything.
They the hot chick on the block. They the new chick at school. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna be the eyes of the NFL offseason. They already have, and they are gonna be the summer leading up into leading into the season. The one thing too that I didn't know that I learned today is so Hard Knocks, they'll create a training camp battle Like they'll talk to the Bears and to teams that they're doing this with. They create a training camp battle, so we'll see somebody that we don't know of that's fighting for a roster spot, but they'll never have a chance to get on the roster spot, and it's basically masking like the real camp battles.
There's always that one or two player that you fall in love with who wasn't like that good or whatever.
Yeah. Right. And they manufacture that. So I never really knew that was like a planned thing with the organization, and that's really to hide who really is, might be on the bubble, whether that's somebody on the O-line or one of the defensive linemen, like a Dominique Robinson. So it's gonna be interesting too. Plus it's a week by week thing, and it's a perfect segue for us as Bears fans, and entering this new transition with a new QB, all these shiny weapons, a new OC to get more access to the team. We just got an extra month of football really for us. Yeah. So and it's gonna be dope.
And for Bears fans too, it's like the Bears don't show us nothing. Like
they
just started showing a little bit with the 19 football drive the last couple seasons. But if you're a Bears fan, like I'm gonna love it now, even being a member of the media. But if I was a member of the media, I'm excited, but I would be over the top excited if I wasn't a media member because I know nothing about that. Right. They're gonna show new facilities. I think who's gonna get a lot of screen time? Kevin Warren. You're gonna see that nigga.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin Warren definitely gonna show his day-to-day from his crib downtown or going to Lake Forest. It's gonna be a lot of that. I'm interested to see more Flus. See more of Flus's personality. We already know
even more of Ryan Poles.
Ryan Poles, yeah. You already know Caleb's gonna be the star, Roma Dunze. But to me, the underrated star who we're gonna be talking about every week is DJ Moore and his daughter. That's who I believe is gonna be like the what's DJ gonna do this week? Because DJ is low key the funniest nigga on the team. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, and I think it's gonna be just a perfect way. Oh, Alex had an amazing.
Right.
Topic. Patreon after show episodes. I'm down for that.
Matter
of fact, yeah. Alex, I'm gonna hit you up. We're gonna give you something for giving me that idea.
Yeah. And real quick,
give you like a month or two free on Patreon. I'm gonna hook you up, dog.
Yeah. I know you asked me what I wanted to see. I tell you what I don't want to see. Don't you dare roll none of them niggas from 1985 out there.
No, it's gonna happen. No, it's gonna happen.
I'm
That's
sick of it. This is your opportunity to usher in the new era.
It's gonna happen.
If it ain't a little Walter Payton montage, I don't want to see that shit.
It's gonna happen.
I'm so
Samurai Matt Mike is gonna be at a practice.
I do not want to see a motivational speech from that nigga.
Nigga, he already did it. He already said. You didn't see what they posted on the Instagram after the draft. He already sent one to Roman and Caleb. They already got that train rolling. They already got. I'm telling you right now.
I ain't see it. So
well, you gonna see it on HBO, nigga. Samurai Mike is gonna be there.
I want to see Richard Dent lipping his ass over there.
You ain't gonna see Richard Dent.
I don't want to see Otis Wilson.
No, you gonna see Otis. You gonna see Otis Wilson.
I don't want to see Gary Fensick.
Nigga, they finna roll.
I'm trying to be careful because some of these.
You gonna see Peanut. You gonna see Peanut.
Well, he always there.
He always there.
Yeah. The Peanut always, but I'm sorry, Dante, you gonna see them old niggas. Like you gonna see them old niggas for sure. They finna roll the fridge out. I had to Google. Before I said that, I had to make sure my man was still with us. They gonna roll the fridge out. You gonna see Gary Fensick, nigga. You gonna see them old niggas. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen.
Tom Thayer.
They gonna hit our hearts.
Tom Thayer there all the time.
Yeah, he do the radio, so.
But they gonna hit our hearts with the Mongo piece for sure.
100%.
They're gonna hit our hearts with the Mongo piece. I heard a story today about Roma Dunze's grandfather is like really big in his life and like really somebody he talks to every day, and he had like a freak accident on a bike, so he's blind now. So Rome calls him every single day to like tell him like what's going on. It's like they're gonna hit us with some feels.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think that in Rome, really, I saw like this piece on YouTube, like right before he got drafted. I forgot the name of the YouTube channel. They did that Justin Fields documentary a couple years ago. I can't think of the name, but he's real in tune with his father's side of the family. Like you always know when you got a black daddy, like which side of the family. Like like his mom was making Nigerian food. He even told her like, yeah, you can't make it as good as grandma, but we gonna let it rock. Like you can see, like he's real in tune with the nigga side of his family. But there's gonna be family stuff in there that you're gonna see. But yeah, I'm excited at that. There's gonna be one where Caleb's the perfect person for this. I love Justin. Just no Hard Knocks wouldn't have been it because Justin don't have that outgoing personality. You know what I'm saying? Like Caleb gonna be all over the place on this, and this is gonna be fun. And yes, we are going to do after show episodes. Thank you, Alex, for that idea.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. But we're gonna hit me up. We'll figure out a way to thank you for that idea.
Alex, you gonna have to explain that shit to my girl now. But
I'm about to say, thank you for giving more work for me, Alex. I appreciate it.
You gonna have to explain that. You're gonna have to explain now. She gonna hit me with the football don't start till September, second week of September. Shout out,
Alex. I just
Alex.
can't believe I agreed to more slave labor, y'all.
Oh wow. You see how they paint me on here? Wow.
He said, "Yeah, we definitely gonna do that."
Yeah, we definitely gonna do that.
We've already got the threatening text messages. Your ass better be there at 11 o'clock Central, nigga.
Anyway, man, moving on to our next NFL topic, man. Jalen Waddle from the Miami Dolphins. He just got a new contract extension a couple days ago, 3 years, $84.75 million with a $76 million guaranteed. The Dolphins giving that money. They're already talking right now about that Tua extension. Did y'all see Tua lately? Like he don't look like Tua no more. Like that nigga look like
man, I was tweaking last night off the edible because I thought that was his brother. I don't know. He looked like that's Tua.
Yeah, right. Tua. Yeah, I was just like, what? Like this don't look like Tua, but Tua is gonna get a big contract soon. But my question for y'all is, what does this do for the rest of the wide receiver market? We got I won't say our guy, but there's always a player in the NFC North who I feel guilty about being a fan of. That used to be Devontae Adams. Then I could actually root for him when he went to Vegas. That is currently Justin Jefferson. What's they gonna do for Justin Jefferson's contract talks? T. Higgins is already putting, subliminal Instagram captions on his thing. They haven't had any talks. What's they gonna do with CD Lamb, his contract situation with the Cowboys? Mikey, what you think about Jalen's contract and what it means for the rest of the wide receiver market?
Oh, that's a really good deal for him because he's a beast. You also got to keep in mind, supposedly, Tyreek Hill wants some new money now. So I don't know about that. The Dolphins just don't have to call his bluff and tell him.
Didn't they just pay him?
Exactly, and apparently he wants some restructured bread. So
yeah.
That's interesting. But I think Justin Jefferson's we're gonna get really close to him getting paid really soon. He's obviously gonna top the market. He's gonna reset the market. I think CD Lamb will come in a couple million short of him. And then, as far as it pertains to DJ Moore, it's still too early to pay him. I think he has this year and next year left. So you're looking at, maybe approaching him after this season with a contract extension. So right now, we got a top 15, top 20 wide receiver at a bargain price of $16 million a year. You cannot beat that with a stick for the production that he gives you. But the wide receiver position is a premium position in the NFL. It has gotten to the point where it is as premium as the left tackle on the defensive end. Salary cap is going to keep going up. If they go ahead and they add another game, that's more revenue. So as far as the Bears and DJ Moore, where that stands, I think we're a long way out. I think it's very interesting for somebody like Keenan Allen. Like I said, I'm always going to be under the assumption that he's a one and done player with the Bears this season. I think he's here for obviously to try to get into the playoffs and mentor a young quarterback in Caleb Williams, but also a young top 10 wide receiver in Roma Dunze. But you look at this money, Keenan Allen put up a career year. He should be getting around this or maybe a little bit more than Jalen Waddle. So if you look at that, we're looking at maybe $77, $80 million for Keenan Allen with DJ Moore coming up the following year. I just don't think that's something that makes sense for the Chicago Bears. So just keep that in mind. When you see everybody getting paid, just know that there's two guys that are worthy of being paid for the Chicago Bears. And I think only one gets paid down the road, and that'll be DJ Moore. So it's good to see, though, that wide receivers are getting paid, man. I'm interested to see what Justin Jefferson gets because he's going to break the fucking bank.
Yeah, if I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm doing the Birdman hand rub right now. Like if and I think Jalen Waddle was great, but if he getting $76 million guaranteed, what the fuck you think I'm finna get? I think first of all, he got to get a new nickname. Jettas is a weak ass nickname. I'm sorry, Jettas is not hard. It's just not. We got to find him a different nickname. But he's the best wide receiver in football to me. And I like you said, Mikey, I'm glad the wide receivers getting paid because for a minute there, it looked like they were going to start going into running back territory where they're not getting paid. But then we saw the right St. Brown, his contract, where he got. We saw somebody else got paid. Some other receiver I'm missing. But we've seen a couple wide receiver deals lately that show you that they're still throwing money out. And I think all three of those guys, CD, Justin, and T, are going to get big deals, whether it's with their teams. Now, I'm 99.99% the Vikings ain't going to let Justin Jefferson go anywhere. But if I'm Justin Jefferson, I'm elated by seeing that number. Dante, what you think about this contract and what it says for the market?
I think you're going to start seeing a lot of wide receivers getting shorter deals and more guaranteed money. I think the 4 years with the is what $72 million guaranteed. So I got obviously guys like Jefferson will get that $100 million guaranteed. They're gonna stay in that range consistently. But I think, like I've said, with the I think you're gonna have to be elite to get paid. Like if you're one of these okay dudes, those are the guys that I talk about where I say you're not, you're gonna see guys just draft somebody else. I think there's a number where they said like 80% of wide receivers who are drafted don't get a second contract. First round draft picks. So, with so much value out there with especially with guys who would usually play running back now going to these other positions trying to get paid. I think with wide receiver, you're only going to see the elite get paid, but I think it's going to be those 4 years, 5 years with the 80+ million guaranteed. And like we said, the NFL money printer it's not going nowhere anytime soon. It's only getting better. They're only making more money, more TV deals. So it's only going to be, more money in the pot. So I think you'll see those elite wide receivers garner that type of check because there is so much emphasis on, the vertical passing game these days.
And Scott, to go to your point, the other one that got paid this year was in the same rookie class as Jalen Waddle. That's Devontae Smith for the Philadelphia Eagles. So he got 3 for $75 million with 51 guaranteed. And Jalen Waddle kind of crushed that. With 3 years, 84.75 with 76 of that guaranteed. That's over another 21 million, 24 million dollars guaranteed. So now you're looking at T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, CeeDee Lamb. Like the guarantees are only going to get up there. So I'm thinking we're going to see CeeDee Lamb coming in at about 80 guaranteed, and Justin Jefferson about 90 to 100 million guaranteed.
Hey man, what you think about these deals?
As far as the Bears go, they better talk to DJ Moore now. If they smart, because if you wait, that number gonna go up. So I'm not saying that something is going to happen. My man probably be smart enough to be like, nah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what this Caleb shit do. But if I'm the Bears, knowing that he's still young, like DJ Moore's still young, you got Rome, you got Keenan Allen, who might not be around next year. He might be a rental. He might not be a rental. Unless Tyler Scott has a breakout year, you're gonna need another wide receiver. So if you don't want that price to get too high, you might as well go ahead and get DJ Moore out the way now, since you could say he's a borderline top 10, top 15 wide receiver. As far as the position as a whole, I think a lot of people are waiting on Justin Jefferson and that money too. I think he's going to reset the market. He might reset the market not just for wide receivers, but the offensive side of the ball in general, the non-quarterback position, because there's going to be some left tackles that's going to be looking at Jay Jetta's contract too. And if he is the wide receiver that we think he is, and if he gets his joints off pause with Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy, you have to bring the Brinks truck. You got to. So non-quarterback players are going to be looking at that contract too. He's going to probably come out and be the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history once he signs. So after that, Then you look at T. Higgins. T. Higgins is going to be like, okay, well, I should get this. DJ Moore, okay, I should get this. So it's better to try to get some of them dudes paid now, because Jettis is going to make sure that he gets paid, and by proxy, everybody else going to get paid too.
I'm with you, Bang. If I'm the Bears, soon the season over, let's talk, DJ. Let's talk. Let's talk. Try to knock something out now, because as you just said, we know DJ is not a better wide receiver than Justin, but that don't mean nothing in the NFL. The next player always ups it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so whatever Justin Jefferson gets paid, whatever any of these other guys get paid, DJ is gonna want to get more than that. So if I'm Ryan Poles, I try to do the same thing as well. One last football topic, man. We gonna go probably about another 25 minutes, and then we gonna wrap up. No local out today. That's why we're going a little longer than usual. But talk about potential offseason changes in the NFL offseason program, man. This dropped from Tom Pelissero from NFL Network a couple days ago. He said the NFLPA is working to finalize a proposal to change the offseason starting next year, which would eliminate voluntary OTAs, which are going on right now, in favor of a longer training camp ramp-up process, which will have players reporting mid-June to early July, and will make, training camp longer. My opinion, I don't really have too much opinion of it, because I'm not a player, so I don't know how much this affects them and how much it affects their routine. So I've just been paying attention to what other players have been saying. I know we've seen a couple players say that they hate it. They think it's a bad idea. I know Chris Long said that he's really against it because it has like breakup in between. And if you're a player, you really don't take any type of break, but July is really where people take their breaks before training camp and stuff like that. Now it might help with like some of the soft tissue injuries, like a hamstring and that, because you're ramping up and there's not like a stop and go. So I don't really have too much opinion on this. If I'm the players, I just hope the players don't get shafted, because we know every time the NFL does something changes, it has nothing to do with the players' favor. It's all about what the NFL wants. So if and when this does become official, I just hope the players don't get shafted in this. But Mikey, you have any opinion on this, on how this might change things for the players and the way we look at the NFL offseason?
I just think the only thing it'll change is just like their off-season plans with their family. If it's starting a little later, they'll be able to be home, to be there with their kids. A lot of NFL players don't necessarily live in the cities that they play in, long term. So they'll be able to go back and be with their kids, but also it kind of does take away from what they plan to do in June. Like, hey, we're gonna take our vacation with our family. We're gonna take I'm gonna rest before the long NFL season, and this is only basically preparing players for the for what's inevitable, and that's going to be an 18-game season. We're going to be looking at the NFL Super Bowl being probably the week of President's Day, that Sunday, so pushing it back another week. So for me, I don't really feel no way towards it. I can see where the players would probably be opposed to it, as it dips into some of their free time. But I know what it signals, and it signals that we are getting closer to an 18-game season.
Yeah, that's for sure coming. Like, you can already see that train on the way happening. Bang, what do you think about this? Do you think, like, from the few players we've heard, I feel like it's been like a mixed bag. Do you think it's going to change anything for the players?
Yeah, I've been seeing that too from the players. It seems like a mixed bag. It seems like folks like the fact that it's going to be less of the mandatory stuff and just getting some stuff out the way. All of that, fake voluntary stuff will be out the way. But I think some people do like to break it up. Either way it goes, as long as the Players Association and the players are on the same page, I'm with whatever. That'd be the problem. And as somebody who's in upper management, I look at that as the players union. You send some stuff out. Hey, make sure you read it. Let me know what you think. You just push that shit to the side, or be like, yo, agent, tell me what this is. And that motherfucker probably don't even know. He just here to get you money. He don't give a fuck about what's in that. So then you say, all right, it's cool. Then the shit start happening. You like, wait a minute, I ain't agree to this. And then when you do that, then it's like, nah, fam, You didn't read. You didn't communicate. So with that being said, they just need to communicate. They need to figure out what is best for them. And if they feel like that is best for them, then I am cool with it. As a fan, I am off. I know, Scott, you said that you ain't for player safety.
Yeah, I don't give a shit as a fan.
See, I am for player safety. And what I don't want, especially if we're about to go in the 18-game season, that you just trying to run these players down even more. No, whatever fits best, fits best. And since I'm not necessarily in training camp, I can't say what it is, but the players union just better not fuck them over.
Dante, man, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I feel you. I'm ready to get to it. But like I'm saying, bro, is what is really interesting to me. We talking about these soft tissue injuries. What about these brain injuries, my nigga? Like, yeah. That's something that's. I know Scott don't care, but I think that's something that the league is definitely gonna have to look into.
You know what it was when you signed up.
No, but they got them wearing the new special hats, and they talk about less contact and all of that, which leads to the soft tissue injuries, according to a lot of players. But I think this is just more so warming everybody up to the fact that this is about to become a year-round league, and like in every capacity. Already the coverage is year-round, but it's going to be something going on year-round with football and with the NFL having their hand in it in a heavy way. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Like the 18-game season is coming. There's nothing you can do about that. That's definitely on the way. And I'm just curious to see where they expand, because the NFL has really been in too big to fail mode for a very long time. So it's like, at what point does that bubble burst, or does it ever burst?
Yeah, that's a good point. And like you said, the helmet thing is something that they're really trying to use, because that's not just for training camp now. It's going to be using regular practices as well now. So I mean, there's not too much they can do about that, in my personal opinion, because it's football.
And they changed that. They added that rule now, or added the option of wearing those scub caps during the game and shit, right?
Yeah, you can wear it in the game now if you want.
What are them things called? Because I call the scub caps. I feel bad.
I don't know what
I forgot the technical term, but they redesigned the helmet so many times that certain helmets are illegal now. Like some got grandfathered in for the quarterbacks, but for the most part, the helmets are all brand new. So like I'll give them their credit. They're doing what they can, you know what I'm saying, to try to prevent these injuries to the best way possible. But at the end of the day, with folks getting bigger, faster, stronger, it's only so much you could do.
Oh, he's gonna be joining Brave New World. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said, nigga.
I ain't hear that part. My bad. I didn't hear the Brave New World part, my nigga. Damn, that nigga just heard my. I gave
my MC report, nigga. Oh, anyway, we're about to talk baseball and WNBA. So I know, man, you can start your weekend. Let them know where they can get in tune with you.
Hey, man, JR Bang. I'm gonna be at the Cubs game. First game in over 20 years. So we'll see how that goes. Do you still get is it still like $5 for a beer?
$5.
Yeah, $5
in Atlanta. Bro. In Atlanta,
you gotta add a 1 in front of
it. In Miami.
Last time I've been to a game, friend. Last time I've been to a game, beer was like $5, and I couldn't get that motherfucker. So it's actually been longer than that. Also, new episode of some dude coming, first Black Champ. I'll be at the game, so we're not gonna be recording that. And yeah, check out Summer Sessions too. I like that Summer Sessions episode. That was real
we
good
actually gave y'all Summer Sessions episode for the first time in 2 months. It's me, Bang, and Pav, because Merk was on a boat somewhere.
He was on the boat politicking.
He was on the boat politicking.
Merk's about to be the next alderman.
I was about to say he getting his that's my man from Power.
Lorenz Tate, Councilman Tate.
Rashard Tate. He getting his Rashard Tate on.
Hey, I'm calling it right now. Hey, Merk is gonna fuck around and run for alderman, and we're gonna have updates on Summer Sessions, or we might have to delete them.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna have vote for Merk. I vote for Merk, but I'll let you on Monday, bro.
Peace.
Yes,
now let's Bang gave us the perfect segue with the Cubs. We're actually gonna talk about the Cubs. Them niggas lost again today.
Terrible loss today.
5-4 to the Cincinnati Reds. Somebody tried to run on my man Ellie. Did not work. Did not
It was
work.
Nick. No, it was Nick Magical, dumbass. It was just
Oh,
put
of
him
course
on.
it was.
In Madrigal's defense, it was Willie Harris, dumbass, because he should have never fucking sent them.
So a
And he
former
came
White
out.
Sox
And he
spinning
came out.
somebody wrong.
Right, former White Sox being the root of a Chicago Cubs loss, but he should have never sent them. That was a terrible fucking send. But that leads into some of the issues for the Cubs that are just bleeding. They're terrible base running team. They have 27 outs on the base path. That's tied for the most with the Los Angeles Angels. Anytime you're tied with the Angels in anything,
It's
that's
not good.
bad. It's not good at all. They're 10-18. They finished the month of May 10-18. There was at one point they were about
Well, yeah,
7.
I was just gonna say that they're third in the NL Central after losing today. They're 28-30, 6 games behind first place Milwaukee, who I think they just got swept by Milwaukee, right? Or did they?
No, they won one. They won one
They
game.
won
And
one.
that's
Then they lost 2 out of 9 in their last 11 games. Their offense has been bad. Their bullpen has been bad. But go ahead, Mike.
No, 100%. And 10-18 in the month of May. That includes a 5-game losing streak to the Braves, to the Cardinals, and the Brewers. So 2 of those were to your division rivals, and one of them is a team that if the Phillies keep going the way that they're going, then you're looking at the Braves being a wild card team. So those games obviously mean a lot. Over the last 30 games, the real root of the issue is their bullpen and their offense. Their starting pitching, honestly. They have a top 5 rotation, and their rotation is playing and pitching as a top 5 rotation. Over the last 30 days, their rotation is number 3 in the MLB. That's obviously being led by Shota Imanaga, Javier Assad, and the return of Jamison Tyon. Ben Brown has come in and had some nice spot starts. Justin Steele is obviously back, off of that, that fucking opening day injury. So their rotation is obviously keeping them in games. It's just their offense, man. Over the last 30 days, their offense ranks 27th in the MLB, and that's based on expected runs per plate appearance. And what's really been their crux is just their K percentage, man. For the month of May, 25% strikeout rate. Michael Bush, somebody that Cubs fans were going crazy over, in the first month of April, had a 39.7% K percentage. That is fucking ridiculous for the month of May. Dansby Swanson is fucking ass. He's I don't want to speak for Dante, but we kind of called this. We called this when they signed them. They signed the worst out of all of the available shortstops that free agency. The bullpen over the last 30 games, like I said, the bullpen is 25th in the MLB. They have 11 blown saves. You talk about them being 28-30, 11 blown saves. Like, we're talking about them being double digits over 500, comfortably leading the NL Central right now. So I don't see a fix for this roster right now. 6 games back right now. They have still a tough series coming up, matchup wise, where you throw Hunter Green on Saturday. Tomorrow is must-see matchup. I hope that's a game that Bang is going to. That's Hunter Green for the Reds going up against Justin Steele. Then on Sunday you got Nick Lodolo versus Ben Brown. So you're sending your ace, and then a young flamethrower Ben Brown. Like, you have to get some of these games because it could get ugly. The Brewers got the White Sox coming up. We know what's about to happen there. The Cubs can find themselves Monday 8-9 games back if they fuck around and lose this series to the Reds. So it's really interesting to see how their season is starting off, and kind of what based on the expectation that they had and their fans had.
And before we go to you, Dante, I just want to say, man, Jet Hoyer, he fucked the money up, bro. Like, he fucked the money up. I think it's just funny they spent all that money on Craig Counsell, and then they got actually worked by Milwaukee in this past series. And I feel like I won't say that Cubs fans were sold a dream, because I think Cubs fans kind of knew what the deal was when after he signed Craig Counsell that he went radio silent, but he just messed up a golden opportunity, because the way this team played at the end of last year, you should have been able to build on that. I just hate when big name teams act like they're small markets. You're the Chicago Cubs. Spend money. Trade. You got a good farm system. Do what you gotta do to get better players in there. This offense is stagnant. The bullpen has been trash. You know, they need to treat Kyle Hendricks like they treat old Yeller. Like they need to take him out back, dog. Enough is enough. I'm not even a Cub fan. I watch it look like, what are we actually doing here, man? And I feel like there's a lot of Cub fans who would thought that he was just going to continue the tradition of Theo, and he's done absolutely nothing but that. I think the only thing you probably got to give him love for is he knew the time was running out on that championship core, and he got rid of those guys. But he has not done a good job of building this team and taking advantage of being in a mediocre division. Dante, what you think about the way the Cubs been playing? And do you think there's a way out, or can they be 9 games out come Monday morning?
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because it's one thing when your offense is stagnant, but when your offense is stagnant and you can't stop other people from scoring, you're fucked. And so, like, they've had games where their starting pitching has done well, and then the bullpen comes in and completely just shits the bed. So I think that's one area they have to take a look at. If you're serious about trying to do anything this season, you got to get that bullpen fixed. But I mean, like Mikey said, we called this shit. Once he got counsel and started stalling and was like, yeah, we're not going to go after Shohei. We feel like we have enough talent here. I told you, they were going to try to see if Craig Counsell could just squeeze the most out of the lemon, and he can't. Like, they've hit their wall, in my opinion, with this current roster. And so you got to get bullpen help in there. The bats, bro, like the Nick Madrigal experience needs to stop. He needs to be DFA'd today. Like, he does not need to play another game in the Chicago Cubs uniform. And that's not just me saying that as a White Sox fan. He's just not good. But he needs to go. We talked about Chapman in the offseason. They got to look at somebody at third base, bro, because Morrell ain't it. I just think it's frustrating, and this is not, y'all know how I feel about the Cubs, but it's frustrating because of everything you saw last year and how they started the year. It's like, okay, this team has shown you flashes of, this can be a team that can be a contender, but then they hit that wall, and it's like, oh yeah, this is why they can't. This is why it's not gonna happen. And so I think it's gonna be tough for them to crawl out of this, based on the opposition they're going to face and the fact that, like you said, now with Philly not running away with, but Philly with a comfortable lead in the NL East right now, you have a team like Atlanta that's still really good, that's going to be in that wild card hunt. So you're going to have that wild card race be a little more crowded than normal. So I think for the Cubs, it's not, grand opening, grand closing, but it's close. It's just definitely another sign that they should have done more this offseason.
They have no star power. They have no legitimate star power. Cody Bellinger, we know he was out for a little bit, but the MLB is showing why nobody went it through him, what Scott Boras was asking for. Dansby Swanson, we called it. He got paid off of a monster career year
he was the Carlos Boozer of the shortstop market.
In which he was smushed in between other motherfuckers having career years. You know what I'm saying? Like, go ahead and look back at that Atlanta Braves season. He put up numbers that really were just based on who was in front of him. And if that's cool. If he showed you he could do that. But if you're not going to go ahead and put players around him in that lineup to go ahead and boost them up, then what are you doing? They don't have a Juan Soto. I can tell you right now, we look at the Phillies, right? The Phillies, we already know they got star power. They got multiple guys over there. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper. We look at the Braves, we already know what that is. We look at the Brewers, Christian Yelich is a former MVP. Willie Adames is way better than Dansby Swanson. At the bat, with the glove, it's comparable. He'll make up for what he doesn't give you with the glove, he'll give you with the bat, but we know that he's a stud. Then you go into even William Contreras, the better Contreras brother at this point. That was somebody the Braves let go. He is vying for a batting title. He is going to be your starting catcher in the NL. He's a fucking beast, and they have Pop in that lineup. Then we go down to the Dodgers. We know what that is. Even the Cardinals ahead of them. They have Pop. They have star power in Goldie and Arenado. The Cubs do not have that. You go to the AL. The Yankees, we know what that is. The Orioles, we know what that is. The Guardians have Jose Ramirez. You go to the Mariners, you go to the Rangers, the Astros. Like, I can keep going and keep going. And you would go and give Vlad Jr. now, but Vlad has tapered off from what he was. Bo Bichette has tapered off from what he was. They do need to go and insert some pieces into that bullpen and into their lineup. But honestly, I do blame Jed Hoyer, but also I think this is a Ricketts issue. Ricketts was all about getting his bread back. Ricketts wanted all of his fucking money that he spent back, and he allowed Theo to make some moves and some high price moves, and they didn't work. And the moment that shit didn't work, that's when that shit soured. Theo was like, all right, I'm not gonna be able to spend how I want to spend. This guy kind of wants to do it the other way. I'm out. Jed Hoyer is his boy, so he got, he's kind of managing how all of these owners want their clubs managed through the farm system. Try to get some value signings. Get a manager who is a manager who can win games with. He's shown, Craig Counsell showed he could win games with with subpar talent in Milwaukee all those years, and that's what they're trying to do. They're acting like a mid-major instead of acting like a Power 5 conference, and now they're seeing that like they just don't have enough talent there to sustain. Now, I don't think Cody Bellinger, Christopher Morel, and Dansby Swanson will be this bad offensively for the entire year, but we're already approaching June. 40% of the season is done. Like, I don't know, time's ticking.
Yeah, man. I think you hit the nail on the head on that. Like, if I was a Cub fan, I'd be disappointed because the opportunity was there. And it just makes no sense that they didn't do what they need to do to get that team way more competitive than they are. Because you said they can wake up Monday morning and they could be 9 games out. And at that point, you pretty much cook. I mean, I don't care how early it is in the season. Coming back 9 games is a feat. And you got to play, I won't say flawless, but you got to play great baseball for the rest of the year. And you still got to hope Milwaukee lose. And you don't want to be in that predicament this early in the season, man. But the Hot Corner podcast has been recorded. It will be dropping Monday morning, debut episode. You guys talk about the Cubs struggles, talk about Acuna's injury and a whole bunch of other things. I'll be editing that this weekend, and we'll be getting that up to y'all on the Patreon feeds. I'm not Patreon feeds, but on the podcast feeds and on the YouTube feed on Monday. So check that out. Mikey, man, you're not gonna be with us next week. I know you got some stuff to deal with, but you gave us give us your finals pick since you won't be here next week. Who you got, and then how many games?
I'm riding with the Mavs. I think it's probably gonna go 6 or 7. I just think that those two, Kyrie and Luka, can present a lot of problems for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and those guys down there. I think with the emergence of PJ Washington, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and you get an extra body and Maxi Kleber back for the playoffs. I just really like the way the Mavs are playing. I know the Celtics are going to do some dickhead shit because that's what they do. So I'm going to ride with the Mavs. I want Luka to get a ring. I want Kyrie to get another ring. I'm a fan of how they play. I was looking back at some tweets I had, and I was talking about how the Celtics and the Mavs were playing great basketball going into the playoffs back in 2022. So that was 2 years ago. So finally, my little prediction worked out. So let's see. It's going to be a great series. I think this is surprisingly the way they're both playing right now. It's the best matchup that we could have got. Yeah. With hindsight 2020, we knew the Nuggets with Jamal Murray's injury, they just weren't, they played a lot of basketball the last couple of years and they broke down. This is perfect. I think now we're going to get a new champion, that's either the Celtics, another storied franchise, or we're going to get the Mavs getting, another championship in a year where a lot of people kind of let them fly under the radar, led by a European star and Kyrie getting his redemption. So I love the way those two play basketball, the bigs. It's going to be legit. Also, Porzingis, how does he come back after being out for so long? They're going to attack him as much as they can. Is this going to be somebody that's a decoy? And if he can't play, then it's going to be very tough for Horford to keep up with those 3 bodies that they can keep rotating. That stuff's going to be there at the rim. So I expect a lot of high-scoring games. I expect some close games. I hope we don't get any blowouts. The Celtics handled them this year twice. They beat them by 28 at one time. They beat them by 15 earlier in the year. So the Celtics had their number, but I think that was at a different time of the season and before they had these additions. So so I'm riding with the Mavs. I'll be back. By the time I'll be back, it'll be after game 2 going into game 3. So I'm glad, man. This is a good finals.
Definitely, man. It's gonna be interesting story. And also got Jason Kidd, man. That was my favorite point guard growing up. I was a huge J Kidd fan, man. So and he will be the first player to win a championship as a player and a coach for the same team. If obviously we can, Bill Russell was player coach, but like
Right.
in separate times, I think that'd be good too, man. But y'all can follow Mikey at Junior_Solito on Twitter. He's gonna have a new Instagram for y'all to follow soon, so we gonna keep y'all up to date on that. And Hot Corner episode 1 will be up on Monday. So Mikey, we will holler at you in about 10 days, my brother.
I'll let y'all be easy.
Yes, sir. Me and Dante are going to finish off these next, let's say 10, 15 minutes talking about WNBAs. We're going to wrap this episode up, man. Like I said, I've been invested in this WNBA season, man. I've watched a lot of games. Looking forward to see Camila Cardozo's debut tomorrow against the Indiana Fever. So that's going to be having her debut, first time that the Sky gets to see Caitlin Clark. But my question for you, man, Miss A'ja Wilson, two-time MVP, two-time WNBA champion. She is having a great year. She's averaging 26.2 points per game. She's averaging 13.2 rebounds a game. And just the other night on Wednesday, she had 29 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 4 blocks against the Minnesota Lynx. Both all this publicity going to, Caitlin Clark, the new rookie class, and even just the love that I feel like Breanna Stewart gets a lot, and just other players in the league. Now, I know that she is the best player in the WNBA, but do you feel that she maybe at this point is a little bit underrated?
I could see why somebody says that, but I wouldn't say underrated. I think she's properly rated. I think it's to the point now where her greatness can't be questioned. So now it's just a matter of how much hardware is she gonna put to her name. So when she walks away, her ranking, is solidified as among the all-time greats. Because you got to understand, back-to-back titles, they're going for a 3-peat, and they have a good chance of getting it. League MVPs, people argued that she should have got the MVP over Stewie. You got AT, who's a walking triple-double up there in Connecticut. So she, there'll always be competition for that. But you're going to look up and she has 3 or 4 WNBA titles, 3 or 4 WNBA League MVPs, Finals MVPs. So, she has solidified her space among the greatest to play this game. So now it's just a matter of a lot of people just get tired of seeing the same person.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we always see that. And I think that's one thing that for most of the people who just been casual to women's sports, you're not really tapped in to that type of shit because you just assume everybody is just old kumbaya and but they've showed you they are competitors and hooping.
What I've learned these last couple weeks is they hate each other.
Yes, bruh. They be in each other's face. They do the same shit niggas do. So I'm glad that people are actually tuning in and seeing okay, no, they just hooping, bro. But I think it's just a matter of with A'ja, the resume speaks for itself and it's only getting longer. So I don't think she can ever be underrated. It's just a matter of we're trying to really quantify it the right way, because we love to call somebody to go 3 years into their fucking career. So just as she continues to go, bro, I think it's one of those things where, again, I think right now her position all time is solidified, but as one of the all-time greats is solidified. But where she will finally rank is what's shuffling right now. So a lot of people are just hesitant sometimes, and I think we always got to ignore the idiots, the people who are just clearly on the other side of the conversation just to be over there. You don't really believe what you're saying. Shit like that don't matter. But I think A'ja is properly rated as, and by all intents and purposes, the best player in the W.
Yeah, I mean, in my short time of watching, and even when I would watch occasionally, I always knew who A'ja Wilson was and just how talented she is and the domination. I mean, she is taking the Aces to be their dynasty. Well, they're on the verge of becoming a dynasty with this, and just everything about that team is they got a good coach, and they're one of the few teams in the WNBA that I feel is they're a first class organization. Mark Davis really looks out for that team. Mark Davis, they got the best facility in the WNBA. I mean, Tom Brady don't have the team. This nigga actually be showing up. But I think with her, the reason I asked that is because as somebody who's just been watching full time this first month, is I haven't heard her name as much as I've heard the others. Now, granted, this is a new batch of players, a very stacked rookie class that's gonna get a lot of the publicity. But I feel like a lot of stuff's been on the radio, even kind of like the shoe announcement. After one day, I didn't hear about it as much. And maybe that's Nike's fault. Maybe that's the WNBA's fault for not doing that big of a justice with it. And I do want to know when the shoe drops next year. Like, they haven't. I question rollouts with companies sometimes. And not that Nike needs to be questioned, but there's two things. Yesterday, the Nike account tweeted, "Oh, no more basketball for a week." Then they had to delete that tweet because they just completely ignored the WNBA. And then the rollout for Asia's shoe. And like I've been saying, I know they've been working on it because it don't make no sense to not work on a shoe for Asia Wilson. You'd have think they had like a mock-up or something of value to give the fans to where it kind of went under the radar a little bit. And then you have the number she put up against Minnesota. It's like, oh, she can hoop like that. So I just felt like this might motivate her right now, might motivate her throughout the rest of the season into the playoffs, where it's kind of like people might have forgotten a little bit just how good she is because of so much of the younger talent getting more to shine right now.
Yeah, and like I think people like, just to put it in perspective, do you know how fucking good you gotta be to get a statue while you're still playing?
While you're still playing.
Like, she's still hooping, my nigga.
Yeah.
But like, she was the one who helped Coach Staley change that culture at South Carolina and build it into, in my opinion, they're well on their way to being the blue blood program. I forgot the number of national championships you got to win before they consider you a blue blood. But I think South Carolina, as long as Coach Staley is there, is going to compete for national championships. But Asia Wilson was a big part of building that. And so, like I said, to get a statue while you're still playing and then to be playing and succeeding, like I said, the sky's the limit for Asia right now. And I think when it's all said and done, she'll be top 5 all time.
Yeah,
just off pure production, because the numbers are going to be crazy when she.
And she's only 27.
Exactly. The numbers are going to be dumb when she sit down.
On the road to her 3rd championship, and they're a good team, man. And that pivots to our last topic for the day, man. Like, who is the biggest threat to the Aces run? Like, right now, the Aces are number 1 in the Western Conference, 4-1. They just beat the number 2 seed in the Minnesota Lynx a couple of days ago in Minnesota. The Connecticut Sun are number 1 in East right now, 6-0. The Liberty 5-2. Of course, they lost to the Aces in the WNBA Finals, got washed. A lot of people are looking forward to that first Aces Liberty matchup. The Aces haven't played the Connecticut yet, right?
That's right.
Not yet. Connecticut got a good team, great defenders. Who do you think out of those 3 teams I just named, the Lynx, the Sun, and the Liberty, who poses the bigger threat? Or maybe there's a team we're not talking about that poses a threat to their run.
No, I think it's Connecticut. I think that team, last year they got knocked off. I want to say don't quote me on this. I want to say they got knocked off by the Liberty, but that's a team that they defend so well, and they can also get buckets. Like I said, Alyssa Thomas is a walking triple-double. DeWanna Bonner, top 5 all-time scorer. Dejanay Carrington, everything she's done on the defensive side of the ball, and going from a reserve to a starter, and now she sets the tone for that team defensively, as the head of the snake. So I think that's a team, because in order to beat the Aces, don't get me wrong, Asia is great, but you have to stop the extra pieces as well. You feel me? You got to stop Kelsey Plum. You have to stop everybody else. And so for me, I gotta go with Connecticut. I know they built the Liberty to beat the Aces. Like, that was the whole intention of beating that squad. But
they ran their ass.
When you lose that convincingly,
yeah,
it's like I damn near don't even want to see you come back. Like, I get it, you're gonna come back. Like, because like I said, Brianna Stewart is a dog. We already know about Sabrina. Jonquil Jones is really good, and so they have a big 3. But Asia Wilson, like they said, they handled them so easily last season. It's just gonna be tough. But I think right now, my pick to be their biggest competitor would be the Connecticut Sun.
Yeah, and I just think from the Liberty games I've watched, and I've watched a lot of Liberty games in the first month because that was one of the teams I knew, and they just seem like real more finesse. Like, Connecticut feel like they're more physical. They can have more challenges for the entire team of the Aces that they bring, and I feel like that will probably be the better matchup. But it's gonna be hard to stop that team, man. They're well coached. Asia hasn't missed a beat. Kelsey Plum's been good. The whole team has been good. And, Kelsey Plum got a hoop after that terrible video Darren Waller put out there. Like, what the hell was that? Like,
I know they are going crazy in that locker room, boy.
I know they're crying, buddy. Like, I was like, what's this?
Horrible.
Hey, what is that, man? I'm really looking forward to locking more in, especially with the NBA. We only got 2 more weeks of basketball. I'm gonna be a lot of WNBA, a lot of MLB over the summer. We'll be doing our summer shows. Go ahead.
I'm about to say, the first Caitlyn Angel matchup is
It's
tomorrow at
tomorrow. Yeah.
fucking 12 noon
Yes.
Eastern. WNBA still has a lot of early Saturday games for like camps and shit like that. So
And it'll
I
be
think,
Cardozo's debut.
yes, sir. And I think, but I think about that, just about the schedule. I think you're going to start as the popularity increases. You'll start to see them getting more prime time. You'll start to see those slots move and them adjust the schedule
Stop
accordingly.
putting the niggas on Disney Plus, man.
Yeah, and also, G, I don't know if you saw it, but there's been a few NBA owners who have been talking about relaunching the WNBA team in their
I heard
cities.
about Detroit.
Detroit did it. Detroit
Yeah.
shocked. They're interested. And Furtada from Houston, he said if we bring back the
Bring
comments,
back
he
the
said of course I would be the owner. So I think we talk about we saw Daisha Fair from Syracuse get cut by the Aces, but she's one of the all-time lead scorers in the NCAA as well. She's a bucket, but it's just,
and that's like, and WNBA is a tough.
It's a tough league to crack, G.
make, bro.
Yeah, and that's why I think you have so many hoopers who give them their respect, because it's difficult to make it in that league to get a spot. And so I think it's dope to see these other owners saying, all right, we're gonna, we always talked about it, but we're gonna start actually showing y'all and investing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have been saying, well, y'all should have been did that, but no, we know how business works. You have to show them that the interest is there, and then they'll pour the dollars into it. So it's opportune time. So I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, and the the commissioner of WNBA said that they expect after the Olympic break for all teams to be running smoothly with their charter flights. So I think that's a big deal for them, man. Starting on Monday, the homie Damien will be joining us once a week. He'll be hosting our WNBA segment. So shout out to Damien. We're going to be having a lot of WNBA content. I see that y'all really enjoy the WNBA content because the number's been crazy of all the WNBA videos we've done. So we're going to do more of that, especially this summer. Monday we'll be back. It'll be me, Dante, Bang. Courtney should be back. I'm not 100% sure what the Dallas Stars schedule is, but she should be back on Monday. We're going to be doing the NBA Finals preview show. Pavi will be joining us. I'm trying to get one other guest, but we're going to go full in-depth, give our picks for the NBA Finals on Monday, man. And of course, I'm looking forward to that. So y'all can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barberchair Scott. Y'all can follow Dante at OctoberZonte on Twitter. You can follow the Barbers Chat Network and at Barbers Chat Net. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. Follow H&B Media at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. Get in tune with our sponsors, Pillars. Go to pillarsclub.co or go to pillars_club on their Instagram or visit any of their 3 store locations in the Chicagoland area. There's one in the West Loop over there on Madison, and there's also one in the Orland Park Mall and the Chicago Ridge Mall, man. So shout out to everybody who joined us. Shout out to the homie Mike Willis. Shout out our guy Randy Wilkins. Y'all have a great weekend, man, and we're going to holler at y'all on Monday. We up out of here.